What's the time? It's about that time. Clicked on my email there for a second. That was awesome. Lost my chat. There it is. Hey everyone. Anyone here an experiment with different diameter tires front and rear? God, I mean, you know how many, like, that has been asked about, like, for like a weekly dumb, like, so many times. Like, put a portal with class ones, and then, you know, a regular axle. And I'm like, here's the thing. Why? That's an answer to a question that nobody needs to ask. Like, if the question was rephrased, and the question was, has anybody considered running a different tire, front and rear, which, you know, a lot of vehicles do, then yeah, that is something that I would entertain. Colonel Mustard ran hunks in the front and holds in the back for a long while. I had a couple rigs that ran different tires. And then what you end up coming down to is it's bad enough having to do the math to determine gearing on a portal that, like, what is your motivation? Like, what's the end goal of running a portal in the front with a class 1 tire and a straight axle in the rear with a like a class 2 475 tire? Like, why would you do that? You're introducing a level of complexity that is absurd. And if you're talking about not doing it as a mullet, and you're talking about just a class 1 in the front and a big one in the back, to get you underdrive overdrive, like, your handling characteristics are going to be weird.
I figured the other way around.
Big ones in the front, small ones in the back. Well, then the small ones are rotating faster. They have to turn more times to cover the same distance. Well, then you're gearing again. So again, what's the point? Like there's gearing, and then there's changing the size of the tire. Like, the difference between this and this. No, not that. Nobody cares about. Someday Reefs will make a tire that works. Between that and that, so you got a class 1 scrambler and a class 2 tusk. It's right about 15%. So if you drove like that, you'd have. See, my brain doesn't like this math. Okay. So this is technically rotating faster, right? Because per revolution, this goes farther. My kid stole my flexible ruler. Give me a pen. Give me a pen. Silver Sharpie will do. Here's how we'll do poor man's rollout. So, rollout on that, 13 inches, right? Rollout on this. 15 inches. Okay? So for each revolution, this is covering 2 additional inches. Is that right? Now I got to get to a cat. You got me doing math already. Yeah, it's 14.5%. My kid has a sewing machine and all that stuff, so they have more of a use for a flexible ruler than I do, technically. I was always using them for, like, bike fit stuff. So yeah, it's 0.866666666 infinitely repeating. So it's actually 14.3% difference. And you would have to run it like this, which is the opposite of, because then this tire is covering 14% less ground per revolution. So what you're going to have is the opposite of what you want, because now you have greater clearance in the front and less clearance in the back. So then you would want a mullet, right? So now you have to have a mullet, but a mullet is already going to underdrive the rear a lot, up to 50%, like if it's a TRX 4-axle. So if you put that on it, now you have like 65% rear underdrive, and now you're trying to figure out, how do we get the front to spin 65% faster? to try to take that at, well, at least 40% faster, and 40% is a lot. Here's why it hasn't happened. Keep going, keep rolling. This feels like an answer to a question that I mean, it's a thought experiment. I love a thought experiment as much as anyone. But I don't think that a mullet with a class 1 tire on it and a straight axle in the front with a full-size tire on it is any different from just a mullet with the same size tires, front and rear, other than adding 14%. Even if you have a 30% shooting it to the front, you still have another 30%. So if you overdrive the rear axle and underdrive the front axle, you see what we're getting at? Just to be able to run that smaller tire, you have to change every gear on the vehicle, which is and there's even, you've just added 14% more math. The point of a moulette is keep the front down. So what you would have to try to do is figure out how to run the small one in the front. So now you're going to bang your diff cover into everything, but you will have excellent departure. Is this the Army Green Trucks of Fortune? Army Green? Oh, no. If you mean the HC6, absolutely not. I took it down a couple days ago and looked at it and realized how much work I still have on it, and that was enough motivation to repack it in the box and put it away. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's a model that moves. When are you going to do it on Susan? I didn't. If you mean Susan, there's a video on Susan from like 2 years ago. It's called Susan. If you do a search on channel content for Susan, get this. She had a different yoga block at the time. She has switched yoga blocks many times. You think you would love the HC6. The HC6 is something that you can love at a distance. But when I say that it is a model, it is a model. It took about 5 hours to build the bed. The interior does not fit over the electronics as instructed to be installed. Does not fit. So the interior has to be cut, and it's already cut. There's already a hole in the passenger seat from the factory to clear the servo for the 2-speed. It has to be cut additionally because it doesn't clear at all. Like you cannot put it together. And there's still multiple bags of parts that need to be installed and more paintwork that need to be done. And Shaker sent in wheels. So 7 wheels still need to be mounted with inserts and everything else. And there will be a moment in time where it won't feel like work. But every time I open up that box, it just feels like work. I mean, genuinely. Feels like labor to work on it because it's a model that happens to move. And if you're at all expecting anything shaped like performance, you're not going to get it. Thing has no suspension travel. Was the video you were editing in the members vid on them new Boom Racing green inserts? It might have been. What did I do with those? Did I put them in tires? I put them somewhere. So I don't know. That's not them. That's not them. Is that them? That's not them. I put them in a set of tires because I don't have any room on the foam rack. Not there. Not there. There? No. There? No. Ooh, over here maybe? No. 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 No.
They've disappeared.
They've disappeared into the sands of time. Thank you for answering my question on Redcat versus Enjora chassis. Ordered my custom the same day. I'm so glad that I could prevent someone from buying a Redcat Ascent, because anytime I can prevent someone from buying a Redcat Ascent, an angel gets their wings. They went so far as to emblazon themselves on them. The blind guy agreed. When I handed it to him, I said, Nerf mini football? And I handed it to him. Or Nerf hoop. And there were, okay, when you watch that video, when that video comes up, I will refer to these for the entirety of the video as Nerf hoops. Now, I want you to think back in time. Go back to when Nerf was more prevalent. Now, Nerf is basically only associated with Nerf dart guns now, right? Okay, so Nerf hoop it came with a little basketball hoop and a net that you would hang on a door, and there were two varieties of this. One was basically just an open cell foam round orange ball that had no anything. It was a sphere of orange foam and it weighed nothing. Presumably this is because the older Nerf hoop looked like a little basketball with the seams on it, and it had this type of a coating on the outside of it. And all I can guess, it was just heavy enough that if you whipped it at your little brother and hit him in the face, he would cry to your mother. So they replaced it with one that was just basically open cell foam. But in my mind, the Nerf hoop still had, it can get that little scrunch on the outer layer. The jury is 100% out on whether or not, this is a viable thing. Standing here now, I have no idea if this answers a question that anyone is asking. But here we are. So, on to the other thing. Oh, thank you, Jimbo, for the 10. I'm going to hang this back up here. So Ascent bad, but HPI good?
Better.
Yeah. I'll just say yeah. I am assuming we're talking about the Venture Wayfinder from Thursday. Yeah. You know why? They got their shocks right. They got their geometry right. They got their layout right. Their rails are nice. Their part fitment is good. They put no gearing reduction on it. None. And that is the end of their crimes.
But again, we're talking about the HPI Venture that has been produced.
It's been out for like 10 years, right? So is it dated? Sure. Is it weird? Yes. So is everything in the Gmade catalog. So is everything in the Cross catalog. There's a lot of weird designs out there. But you know what? That HPI has been out and driven around a bit now, both in testing and in the recording of the video, and there is not a speck of oil on those spring cups, not even one. The damping feels good. It drives nice. So yeah, do I put the HPI over anything you can purchase from Redcat? Without question, without hesitation.
Red crawler.
Right. When I speak about Redcat, I am referring to the Ascent, because the Vertex is not a Redcat, and all of the other Redcats, I know. There's a lot of Gen 8 guys out there that love their Gen 8, and my response to that is, you can make a trail rig out of an old red wagon if you want to. Doesn't matter. You could put these on a skateboard, figure out a way to power it. It would make a decent trail rig, and it could carry a 12-pack on top. So, what direction will I go with the HPI? I'm going to do it all. We're going to get a series. We're going to get at least a trilogy out of the Venture, right? We're going to make it hyper slow crawler. We're going to make it convincing multi-use thing, like crawls a bit, trails a bit, kind of does everything in between. And then we're going to turn it into a top fuel. Somewhere in a bin. I wonder if can I access the bin from where'st I stand now? There's old speed controls. I don't know what bin. It might be in here. Somewhere around here, I've got a bin.
Go fast.
It might be this one. I don't think it's this one. That's a 3200. But somewhere around here, I have got a Castle 2950. Somewhere around here in a bin, maybe still attached to a gearbox. That's a possibility. Well, we got a Valenion. That's a 3500. We can just slap a Valenion in there. And I've got another bin with a 10BL120. So the smallest you can get the gear reduction is 13.88 to 1. 13.88 to 1, 3500 kV, and 3S. Yeah. That's got to be like 40 miles an hour. Do you think the Creeper T clone will fit in the HPI? Yeah, it absolutely would. Yeah. The bolt pattern won't be, adapter plate would do it. I was working on it. I was tinkering with it this very morning. As one does. Did I leave a space big enough for these whoppers? Sorry, Gen 8 is newer than the Venture, and you're going to put time and money into it? Okay. Yeah, because Redcat makes trash. And anybody that loves their Gen 8, there's nothing I can say to take away your love for the Gen 8, but it doesn't change the fact that Redcat has never once, in a crawler, gotten geometry right, gotten really anything right. So I've invested $0 in the HPI currently because I'm in a position that most people aren't, which is I just reach into bins and baskets and I take parts out and I do the things that I want to do, like how I'm turning this from what misdirection is now into a class 1.5 because I can. And then it will leave a bunch of parts left over, and then we'll take those, like these Rover EXs now, pink Rovers. So we'll find a place for the pink Rovers because I really enjoyed driving the giveaway. So rather than start from scratch, might as well just, are parts available? I have no idea. I don't know. I haven't even looked. Because here's the thing. I have a bin full of axles, and swapping out the axles would not be a problem if I had to do it. Again, what it comes back around to is every time. I'm just saying I wouldn't waste a penny on either of them, but hey, it could be interesting. Yeah, I mean, what other opportunity? Where can you go? Source me a live axle, four-wheel drive vehicle that could, with little to no modifications, go faster than a Rift. Because that's what that thing will do. 13.88 to 1 is basically about the same as you can get gearing on a Rift. But a Rift has a disadvantage. The Rift disadvantage is that it is basically unstable at any speed. It's enormous. So when you hook a mailbox post with it, OpenDiff TRX4, TRX4 has a problem. The 4 problem is those axles have a mountain of gear reduction. So you've got to feed massive amounts of KV in it. Like, you can't gear it enough. The gearing range on a TRX4 is basically nothing. It goes from what? Smallest is a 9 and the biggest is like a 17. OpenDiff TRX4 converted to straights. Well, now you've done this. You've definitely run out past the cost of a... And also, it didn't answer my question. Because an OpenDiff TRX4 converted to straights is not something you can buy. It's something that you can make. But that thing out of the box is entirely too fast. Didn't SSD do a straight axle conversion for the TRX4? They did. And it sold so well that you can't find it anymore because it cost about $75 an axle by the time you were done with it. So $150 to turn a TRX4 into straight axles. You'd be better off just buying straight axles and You can get a set of Mia straights for $100. The open diff straight axle econ? Maybe. I'll maintain.
Although it might have a reduction.
I've been saying it before, and I'll keep saying it into the future. There's something that, I don't know why. I don't know why people, I don't know why people have such a difficult time grasping. When I say something doesn't exist, here's what I mean that it doesn't exist, all right? If I want to buy item X, whatever that item is, insert your item, and I cannot have it in my hands in, say, less than 7 days, then it doesn't exist. It doesn't. I went to do a search yesterday because I wanted to show the blind guy a picture of the Yikong 4061 to show him that the rock slide looks better than the Vertex. Okay? Because it does. I don't think this is arguable. The search function on AliExpress is so bad that I wish it was a physical thing so I could light it on fire and burn it to the ground. And it logs me out if I open a window, log into AliExpress, close that window. When I open that window again, I'm logged out. You cannot stay logged in. And all I can presume is this because so many people have gotten their identities stolen or what have you. Like how all the apps now where you want to order food, you have to enter your card every time because they've been compromised so many times and they've lost so many people's data that they just don't store data anymore. So the moon isn't real? No. Okay.
Who wants to own the moon?
Who wants to own the moon?
You can't put it in your backyard.
Can't put it in your backyard. You can't have anything you want, everything you want. Where would you put it? You don't have room for it. So that was what we call an issue of context. I know that Aaron is just being a smartass, but here's the thing. When I say if I can't have it in a week, I would hope that I would not have to clarify that what I mean is tiny toy car crap. There's a lot of things you can't. I ordered that 3D printer and it took 4 months. So I knew what I was getting into, right? But that's that specific one. Like I could buy a 3D printer right. If I go on Amazon and do a search for a 3D printer, there's probably one I can have delivered today. It will be here between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. So, as far as I'm concerned, the Hobby Wing 10BL80 doesn't exist yet. It almost exists, but it doesn't exist yet. And the same for the outer, the 1700 kV outer, because you can order it directly from Hobby Wing, wait 2 weeks, and then you'll have it. Stuck. I make video. So, okay, here's the thing. We can do this one of 2 ways. I can make a video on things that are available, things that you can have, or just don't make them at all. Because there have been a couple instances where I've made videos about things that are not yet available. And then, boy, do I get to hear it. So now, the most common answer is, have you tested this? No. Do you plan on testing it? No. Because that is stripped out all to hell. We're banging a Torx into that. I wonder how long that's been stripped out. Probably a while. A-Main has the 10BL80 in stock. Well, it didn't. When did my last A-Main order go in? Tuesday? Didn't on Tuesday. This is the whole thing with the Endura chassis, where the people wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. That one was free. You get to take that one with you. To the point where I said it. I'll never buy one. Ever. I will not buy the mid-motor one. I will not buy the FMM one. Never going to happen. You'll never see me build. You'll never see me buy one. That is not an outright denial that I will ever build one, but I'll never buy one.
Is that because you have to order it from Endura?
I would have had to order it from Majora and wait as long as I have to wait to get it. And you know what it is? It's another flat plate LCG gearbox, LCG with the gearbox in the middle or an FMM. It's not going to do anything radically different. It's very similar to the experience I get where anybody, here's an X and here's a Y. Item X is just the same as item Y. Look, guys, go look up that picture. Go look up that picture of mid-size SUVs. It's just like a line drawing. So it has all of the mid-size SUVs, the Hyundai and the Toyota and all of them. And you know what they all look like? The same. They all look the same. I drive a Subaru, and in every dimension, it's within like 2 inches of the Kia Telluride and whatever the Ford version was, or whatever this, because they're making the same thing. There's a class of vehicle. So that's like saying every skid forward chassis looks the same, except for that really weird one that has 2 little prongs that hold the skid. Yeah, they all kind of do look the same. So a Zoku chassis looks like that chassis, and that chassis looks like this chassis, and this chassis looks like that chassis. And the differences range from minor to significant, because I don't know why it's so difficult to get geometry right. I'm just fudging the geometry 95% of the time, and I seem to get it right. I seem to get it right more often than manufacturers do. So yeah, I am surly today. And here's what it comes down to. You ever been on a forum before? You ever been on an online forum of any kind for anything? Whatever it might be, right? Once you've been on there long enough, here's what happens. You're going to see the same question 10,000 times, over and over and over again, because there will always be new people, right? You can never go back to being a new person again, right? So you know what you know, and then somebody comes and they ask you a question about what you know. If somebody asks me a question on the Discord, and I've heard that question 100 times, or more often, I answered it in a video like 48 hours earlier, you know what I do? Elsa comes flying in, and she's like, they don't know. They're just asking a question. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. And I answer the question because I despise those people on those online forums that give you the, why don't you Google it? Why don't you go jump up your own ass? Yeah. Right? If you're on this forum and you're not here to answer questions, then why are you there?
Why even type a response?
Why even type a response? Is it just to, I don't know, post up new pictures of the shiny thing you made? Then there's plenty of avenues for that. But forums and Discords are places where people come for information, and I am glad to answer them. The why don't you Google it response should get a yardstick across the back of the knuckles. Instant ban. Like, you should be banned. There should be a bot that just cruises, an AI that's there in the background. That's like, if anybody says, why don't you Google it, they get 24-hour banned. Because that's not okay. That's not okay. Forge and Grandpa are in stock. Now that's, all right, Stricken, that is very interesting. So, okay, there's a new J Concepts body called the Grandpa. And it's like an old-timey Ford with the bulgy fenders in the front. I know, I want to get one. Okay, before I'm busy ranting and working on this. Stricken, can you tell me, go to the page where the Forge and or the Grandpa are and scroll down and tell me what day they were added to catalog. Because I feel like it's been since the last time I ordered from A-Main, which was, let's put it this way, extremely recently. This is what happens to me every time. Thoughts on the full body anvil? I think it looks okay. I mean, I will build with one. I don't steer towards full bodies. Added 12/3, December 3rd. Yeah. Yeah. The day after I ordered from A-Main. Sorry I'm taking part in discussions on Discord as much as I find it a pain in the ass to use. Yeah. I'm getting too old for this techno shizzle. The Discord is great because the Discord is like a forum, but it's pre-moderated. Because if you show up there, you've at least seen a couple of the videos. So you kind of have an idea of what the vibe is going to be. We've gotten some folks in there that I think discovered the Discord and or the channel through whatever means, and they ask questions that make me talk to Elsa a little bit more. But you know what? Sometimes that's the way it be. So I'll never be a why don't you Google it guy, because Google search results are worse by the day. Misdirection is getting class 1.5. She's getting a shortened wheelbase, so she's going to get the rims that I really like. We're going to remove these Griffins. We're going to remove those Griffins because I need to get the inserts that are in the Griffins, and we're going to put them in these tusks. We're going to put those tusks on there, and she's going to run her exact axles that she runs now, but we're going to clean them up. We're going to remove her entire powertrain, and we're going to replace it with this Fusion SE 1200 because it's going to make things a lot simpler. She's going to keep this servo. She's probably going to change her gearing. She's on big 32 pitch in there right now. We might go to 48 pitch. And she's probably going to be switched over to these shocks because they're pretty available on Amazon now. The 80 to 100s. And these just arrived like 45 minutes ago. And the proof of that is, I don't know if I can pick all these up without dropping them because some of them are a little leaky. Due to recent giveaways, combinations, and fleet cullings, we had some options for shocks. Friction recoils, G-made RSDs, and some RTR elements. Yeah, the Ford F1, the Grandpa. It's pretty sweet. So now I have to put an order in at A-Main again for a 10BL80 and a Grandpa and a Forge and whatever else it takes me to get to 100. Oh, did you notice? Did you notice? I'm talking to the blind guy here. I don't know about you. Did you notice that the minimum now for no interest is 150? It's 150 now, not 100. So now we got to be extra careful because they're going to try to stab us with those. I do things like when I buy rigs, I buy rigs on PayPal credit because there's no reason not to. It's 6 months, no interest. And it takes the sting out of dropping like $500, $600, $700 in one spot, right? Because then it's basically like you're doing layaway, but you get the item in advance. And it used to be any expenditure over $100 went automatically into the no interest for 6 months. And then they raised it to $150. And I think they got me with one. I put my computer on Apple, which was 12 payments instead, because I don't have the kind of money laying around to just buy a Mac Studio. The MJX H12Y is an off-the-shelf solid axle and way too fast. All right. But I see M12, is it little? Does the 12 imply 12th scale? Is that out? That's out. Okay, we should be free. Except for electronics. I think there's an old AG Innovations Ninja in there. Ooh, this has not been unbuttoned in some time. This is a Flash Hobby drone motor, 1450 kV. So I got to run a big 5mm pinion on it, and I had to use a Dremel to machine a flat on it. So there's no back iron, as they call it, in the motor because it's designed to whip out a ton of RPM. So she's going to have a bit more torque now. You should change the tires, wheels, and maybe motor on an HPI and take it on a wheel on Wednesday. I got to looking at the shelf.
Oh, did you get the normal warranty or the tucked one?
Tucked. Yeah, I got the tucked one. Doesn't feel. It feels all right. And actually, ooh, it depends. We are gonna have to get that screw out of there. Boy, that spur gear's best days are behind it. Most I spent on a single RC vehicle has been 400 pounds, but that was bought for me with a government payout. It would not have happened otherwise. Oh God, I wish I could say that.
All my purchases are on government payout.
That's true. The blind guy is a ward of the state. So
Pay me for being blind.
they pay him to be blind. I enjoy Fridays even more when you are irascible. I don't work towards my irascible status. I do make an effort to be inscrutable. Are they gone yet?
They finally left.
They finally left.
Well, actually, they're still in the driveway, so they're technically not gone.
Yeah, and they said between 11 and 12, and I think it's slightly after that. It's like 12:30.
Were you complaining about it?
No. I have plenty of other stuff to complain about. It's one of those days. It's a day.
Stuff's not working.
It's a day. No, it's just a day when we complain about things.
We're saying hello.
Somebody said everybody sit up straight.
I am off work.
Wow. How'd you do that?
I took half day.
You know what? I'm just going to leave this like this. We're not going to reuse any of this. And then we can bolt that into something else. It'll be fun. I did get my pledge back. I couldn't remember if I'd gotten it back out of the house.
That's what you use pledge for?
Mm-hmm.
That's not wood.
This is the best. It's all I use for cleaning vehicles because pledge puts that like thin layer sheen of protection on it. So when the plastic, it just turns it brand new. And it smells nice.
Yeah.
And you can overspray it everywhere. Ruby should go out on a wheel on Wednesday. Man, Ruby hasn't been on a Wednesday in forever.
Which one's Ruby?
The red one that you drove when the gyro was accidentally turned on and you couldn't get it to go in a straight line.
That was horrible.
Because the gyro by default is attached to the VR knob.
Where's she in the garage?
Like over on the white bench.
That's funny. I mean, she's not wrong. This is not wood. And I mean, we don't know how. Luckily, shout out to my printer intern because I've never paid him, so he classifies as a printer intern. Matthew has helped this project along immensely because JP Wirt sent him the file for the skid, and then he sent me the G code for the skid, and I just printed this out, and it looks like it looks flat. It looks okay. It's not like warped or anything, so presumably that's gonna work. And there's little side pieces. I need a printer. Yes, the printer changes everything. I don't know what gears are in here. We're already here. I'm not in a hurry. Could you do a Wheeling Weirds Day where you take the most ridiculous vehicles out and see how far they can get on the trails just for funsies? This idea brought to you by Dumb Ideas for Free. I don't know who that would be. RoboKitty, I guess. RoboKitty would be a really dumb idea with a Fusion 8. Though, on the other hand, RoboKitty will fit a full-size, like, you could fit like a 4S 5000 in there. Would you rather me send in my Endura FMM for Touristas or me send in the chassis for a Canyon build? I don't know. People send in their rigs for me to drive and evaluate, I guess. And make better. 2654. Okay, so it's 12%. We'll stick with the 12. I don't see a need to. Well, there's a horror movie called Touristas, so it was what popped into my head when I was sitting in front of the computer and trying to think of a name for when I was putting up the first episode. So Touristas it became. I mean, they are tourists. They're just here for a little while, and then they head back to their forever homes.
Some of them become permanent residents.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about Woody, Woody was a part of what we call the Pennsylvania Prisoner Exchange because Woody had already been here for 2 years. Speaking of Pennsylvania, Lil Fella lives in Pennsylvania. I know that if I have anything Class 1 that doesn't get driven for an extended period of time, it's going to end up in southeast Pennsylvania. And that has proven to be the case on multiple occasions because little fella's in Pennsylvania, Lord Penneby's in Pennsylvania, and I feel like the chances are never zero that at some point Old Blue is probably going to end up in Pennsylvania because then he won't just sit moldering on a skid forever. I feel a weird guilt about things not being driven.
Yeah, I haven't driven it over a year.
I'm going to test out my build this weekend. I feel like you'd rip my rig to shreds. Kind of curious what you'd think about a Gold Rush with Fusion axles and a 12.75. Well, you lost me at Fusion axles.
What are those?
Because they're kind of, well, Redcat Ascent Fusion.
Okay.
The Gen 9 axle is one of the worst axles on the open market today. It has, well, the Spudder Man will tell you that compared to a TRX4 axle, a Gen 9 has something like 9 millimeters less clearance, 9 millimeters less, 11 millimeters less clearance, something like that. It's absurd. There are straight axles with better clearance than Gen 9 portals. I know they're garbage. You're only $100. You're $80 to $100 away from living a happier life. Because you can just order whichever ones you like from Mias. What KV motor would be good for the Mias straights? Honestly, well, it depends. Outrunner, Fusion, like what are you running? Because ordinarily I recommend a 1200 for straights, and there are a lot of people that are like, no, you still have the throttle control in an 1800. And I go, yeah, and you also have a bunch of RPMs you're never going to use. An 1800 not in place for trailing duties on a rock crawler is like having a McLaren that does 200 miles an hour and you never drive it out of the city. So Fusion SE, then I would say if it's going to be purely for rock crawling, a 1200, and if you're going to use it for mixed duty, an 1800. Because when you're out trailing, you do spend time going faster than walking pace. At or above walking pace. Whereas if you're purely rock crawling, you rarely go above even walking pace. You go like 3 miles an hour. Oh, Hizzy's building another TRX4. Yeah, slow car fast is better than fast car slow. That's 100% correct. I did indeed Mr. Belgium. I'm just going to call him Mr. Belgium for today. I did indeed see the Flanco rebuild, and I still, I have to consult Elsa because I think about it often. More often than I would like to. That you won the one, you won Ratchet, and then refused it. So I built you a rig, and then I sent it to you, and then you took it apart. And then you took it apart, and you left it apart for like 2 years. And I do let them go. When I let them go, I let them go, right? If it's gone, it's gone. But at the same time, I'm not going to fake the funk on a nasty dunk and say that I wasn't like, oh, that's mighty nice of you to just strip that down to nothing. So, when I watch it now, I'm not going to say that it isn't a little bit of a bittersweet experience. It's a trailing rig already, so it's going to be pure crawl. Oh, okay, yeah. I'd say 1200. Because with the 1200 feels better. Like the amount of control you have on the trigger feels better. And they will accept a ludicrous amount of gearing. And they have enough torque to hold it. So, like, baseline runs like a 24 or 25 tooth pinion.
I never knew Hobby Wing made $300 speed controls.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're looking at like an XR10 or a DR10.
Well, that was an XR10. What is that for, like big scale?
No, sedans. They would make a Max 5 though. That one's like $300 for just the speed control. Yeah, Hobby Wing makes everything.
Control. Well, I guess that. There is a.
Hobby Wing is the new 500-pound gorilla.
Yeah.
What we're all afraid of is that at some point they're going to try to start getting away with whatever they can. So far, it hasn't happened. So it might not happen.
$125 for this Fusions. Something says just stock. JUSTOCK.
Did you see the Top Gear where they drove a Prius at top speed and then an M5 that just kept up with it and the M5 ended up getting better gas mileage? Yeah. Because that Prius was wide open the whole time. I get the Mia straights with an Amazon 3 gear and an AliExpress belt drive with a Fusion 1200, and that seems absolutely perfect in Whisper Quiet. Yeah. Yeah. That's what's crazy, is that a 3 gear and Mia straights is just basically it's the minimum that we're asking for. It's all we're asking for. Wow. No. I stopped 2 of them with my thumb and I'll just find another one. Screw it. Look at that. Would you please focus? It is so. Can I? Yeah, there we go. It's so clean. It's so clean. I was like, I don't feel any resistance on that. Yeah. Any of the grease that's left is right there. And misdirection has been in one piece for so long that is Lucas Red and Tacky in there. I hadn't even discovered this stuff yet. So I'll be putting another. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I'll be putting in another Friday A-main order, it looks like. Seeing as they added all the stuff right after I ordered.
Doing that shit today.
Oh, you're doing it?
My PayPal balance is nothing.
Mine is slightly more than nothing. Oh, the laser is not the laser is not cooperating with me. And I don't know what. You know what it probably is? The software is probably out of date already, and I need to update that. anytime I set the laser power below 40%, it doesn't fire the laser. I don't know what it is. I lost that other screw. There's such a mess. It's such a mess. You know, I say if it's fallen, it's gone, and here I am looking for it like a chump. I can just get another one. Move on. You can use grease nipples to fill the holes in the Camel Trophy trucks, and then you don't have to tear them down to re-grease. That's true. Don't set it below 40%. Here's the problem. It's over here on the floor because I kicked it earlier. So you run a little test pattern. They have a little calibration test pattern that you run with the laser. So this is a single pass, and then these are millimeters of second in speed. And you'll notice you can see daylight through a bunch of them. So 100% power at the slowest speed. 100. This one is almost through. Like a bright light will shine through that one. So at 3,900 millimeters a minute, 100% power will blow through. So 40% would be right up in this column. This is basically blown through. There, you can see me behind it. So 40% would be about here. And so I crank the speed way up, and then it still burns too deep. Oh, yeah. Like 100% power. This is why they have an air assist, because the 100% power will just, it's basically trying to light it on fire. 10% power at the highest possible speed just kind of etches the surface. But I mean, Aaron can confirm it. Oh, it is burning the wood. It's not just making, like, if you run your fingers across it, there is dimension to how deep it's going into the wood, because apparently that laser will do 3/4 inch plywood on a single pass, or 20 millimeters of pine. I can't imagine the amount of smoke that would come off of that. But I do imagine it has to be a lot. Oh boy, zip ties to cut. Charles with the sniper shot. Because I have definitely discussed at some length that misdirection is decidedly imperfect. Yeah, it looks like I used a CNC to mill it out. I don't know if I can reach the one. Oh yeah, we'll just go to 2. You can look down there while I lean through right here. So I did the first 2 out of 3 millimeter, and you can see that this one is turning into a potato chip, because will it focus on the dimension? There it is. Like, look around the letters. And I tinkered with the settings on this for some time. To get it to this. And you can see it was a little spicy in some of the spots. And it took so much of this material out that I just ordered a new batch of 5 millimeter. Well, they call it 1/4 inch, but it's usually between 5 and 6. Because I want to start cutting shock stands again. I need a new one for myself. I've broken mine twice, usually by dropping things on it. And I need to get the settings right. I wish I knew what we were building. I wish I knew what I was doing. Can you widen the lines? Probably. The problem is, what I've done is I've turned my laser, which worked great, into a 3D printer. Because now, if I get the settings wrong, it doesn't work good. So I did this to myself. I'm going to figure it out. And the beauty of it is I just plug away at it blindly until I figure out what I'm doing. There's a, where is the speed control? How does this thing move? Oh, it's right there. Magike is correct. Absolute Magike. Could you tell me your thoughts on the wheel offset that would work on the F100? Okay. Now, the F100 is reasonably wide, but as you remember, these are -10s on here, and the body has a good bit of taper at the front. See, like how much now? So this is going on. Hey, next 909 with $100. With $100, you know what we're gonna blow that on? We're gonna blow that on stuff like coffee drinks. No, 10BL80. More bodies. Oh God, you know what we need? More bodies. Weekly dumb laser cut a wooden chassis. All right, I would. You know what? I would try that. If it had enough bracing, it might survive at least 2 crashes. So, we're talking about going to class 1 because that fender arch does not look friendly to a full 475. Now, I would think a more conventional offset, because like if we get this like this right there, that's probably where about the exposure I would want, and then the whole tire is out on this side. So probably 20 millimeters narrower than this. So conventional offset with 6s on it. It's just it looks too wide, unless and I wouldn't want to cut the fenders out a bunch either. So I don't know. Yeah, so if we put class 1s on this, this will be a 1.5 as well. Sort of. I mean, it's just a cab. Maybe he'll build a stake bed for it, and then it'll be a proper one. But I would say, like, you guys on the Discord were posting the picture of those like retro 5-spokes. Those look pretty good on there. I think those look pretty good on there. If you had to start over with a new drill selection, what would you buy and why? Oh, man, that's so hard. Like my brain wants to, because I've been using these for so long. And if you haven't seen it before, if you want any, do the Dremel batteries fit? Yes, they do. It's my newest battery. I don't know. Like, I'm pistol grip for life. This is basically too powerful. This is overpowered. But I am so comfortable with an all-in-one solution that I use this to tap holes, to drill holes. I use it as one tool to do everything, right? Yeah, Milwaukee makes one as well, and Milwaukee. And the price of these has gone ridiculous. This is the 31? Yeah, PS31. I have had the brushless one in the past. Do not, under any circumstance, even if it's on sale for less, buy the brushless one. This is the brushed one. You can see the spark of the brushes in there. Never ever buy the brushless one. It is far, far too powerful for this. You can drive deck screws with it. Have you seen any of the Trucks of Fortune packages being opened? Yes, I have. So many RTR optics. So many RTR optics. You can get them for about $100 drill, 2 batteries and a charger. Yeah. This used to be $100. And I mean the 2-pack with 2 batteries and a charger. Now it's $100 for this one and $100 for this one. And if you're lucky, they go on sale and it's about $150 for the pair. Do you need this? No. Is it handy? Yes. Do you need this? No. You know what I would buy? That Fantic. Go down to your local Costco, and there's that Fantic that's like, it goes stick format, and then you can, and it's adjustable. It's called the,
something.
Fantic driver. The 20-in-1. E1 Max? Not the S1. I tried the S1, but it doesn't bend. It's got to be that one that bends. Yeah, the S1 Apex, which they have at Costco. It's a little too much more expensive. So this one at Costco is like $50, I think. So it folds up. It's got the adjustable torque. It's got all the thing on it, right? And it's a 3.7 volt with its little storage thing and not this ridiculous thing that I use. Like, I've said in the past that with Pride, the manual that you get, the instructions that you get with any of the Zoku chassis say, resist your urge to use a driver, and that was because of me. I'm the reason that that's in there, because if you're driving a driver into 3D printed parts, you can strip them out almost instantaneously. These are element axles, and the Dremel batteries definitely fit the Bosch, and vice versa. Oh yeah, do not buy on Amazon. The price is more than double versus Costco. Yes. Ryobi has a nice electric that will do pistol grip, just no slipper clutch. That's the only thing I hate about it. Runs off the little meanies. I have it around here somewhere. I also have the companion temp gun. Is that right? I don't know if that's right. Yeah, it's probably about right. Yeah, the Ryobi stuff is just those little 4 volts. For me, I'm so accustomed to the ridiculous amount of power that I get from these. And the Bosch clutch breaks in. I don't know if that's a bug or a feature, but when it was new, I could set the clutch to 1, which is nothing, and literally just snap beadlock screws. Just snap the heads right off with the clutch all the way down. Oh, well, yeah. A monkey grip over here. He might not be able to see, but he'll snap any fastener with hand tools. What's the maximum inch-pound that I would suggest? This one says, I don't know what this one is rated at. Slightly less than what this one makes. 12 volt is basically a lot. But you know what I also just noticed when we were at the Home Depot? Dremel is really leaning into using these batteries, and they've got a multi-cutter that uses this. They've got the same batteries. I can never change. I've talked about it before, because I have a box full of these batteries. So I keep using these batteries because it would cost me too much to change to anything else. How in the what? Yeah, I gave, was it JDA 79 on here? I gave him my, the stick one. The Fantic stick one was great. Like the clutch worked. It felt nice. It had that really cool, like you like pushed down on it, it popped up, and the bits were in it. But I can't do pen style for a driver. I can't do rifle grip. I'm pistol grip all the way. Neil Daniels uses the 5-finger knuckle shuffler 9000. The 9000. He spent the money for the 9000. That's all the way in. Upgrade your fingies. So I had originally thought that she was running, I don't know what she's running, but look at that little thing. That's small. That's real small. And obviously it has no internal BEC because she's running a big Castle 10 amp, or was. And that will go in the drawer. Right in the drawer. Oh, you know what? Speaking of the drawer, I was reminded of something by the drawer. If you are a person that needs a half-height servo, this is a JX4409MG. It's given me some real hassles with the focus on this particular day. The 4409MG half-height. I have gradually been replacing all of them with micros. Much as I dislike micros, I've just kind of, micro servos and 3D printers. I just have to accept it. They're here. I'm going to have to get used to it. So as they've been slowly replaced, I'd like to point out this is not all of them. These are the ones that I just grabbed. If anybody needs one, let me know, and I will send you one or two. Like if you're setting up a Phoenix, I will send you one or two. Because I also have Injora full case half heights. I have 4 of those, and I have a couple more of these, and my servo drawer is running out of room. How would that half work for a Wizard Series there? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I want to say they're 9 kg. So they are for dig or like shifter duty only. I would not recommend them for anything else. They would be abjectly terrible as steering servos. Is the Injora 7 kg micro okay on a TRX for 2-speed? That's pretty much all I run. Is the Injoras on 2 speeds. I just wired another one up yesterday and threw an EcoPower 640T in the trash. Any tips when working on the Ghoulie Moo? Don't spend money on the, what do they call it? ASD, ASM, BSD, BSM, BASAD. It doesn't work. It's actually pretty easy to work on because everything's so big. The gearbox is a little bit nonsensical, but it's much like working on the Rift, only better because they learned their lesson about using 57 different screw lengths. So assembling and disassembling the chassis is pretty easy. What axles do I run on my FJ40? I have the Amazon clone F10Ts. And on my wife's, it is Boom Racing BRX 90s. It's double the money to put BRX 90s on it. But they are very nice. They are very, very nice. So we're running a 12. I'm going to guess a 56. Thanks to you, I finally got an FMS FJ40 under the Christmas tree. Heck yeah! Yeah, 1256 on 1450. So we'll be able to go up a little bit because we're dropping down to 1200. And we're going to a much smaller tire. Yes. I was rewatching your video earlier and heard about the screw links and was very happy to hear that. Yeah, they finally figured it out. My Rift is a nightmare to work on. They use every screw length. They use every screw length end to end. I want to see the Redcat Vertex axles on the Gulimu. You know what I really want to see? I want to see someone produce put this in the universe. Think these thoughts and propel them outward from your being. Okay, I want somebody like Mias or Injora to make an axle housing, just a housing that holds all of the Gulimu parts. So the shafts and the portals and the ring and pinions, and deletes all of the stupid cutting brake stuff. Because then that axle would be slender, and the portal drop on those axles is enormous on those axles. I would buy those housings immediately because they're big and beefy wide, and we don't have enough beefy wide axles other than Rift axles, which have basically a terrible steering angle because it's a bouncer. So give us some isokinetic front Gulimu internals with that kind of steering throw on it and that wide, because then we can build some big stuff. Let us build the big stuff. Oh, Miata Commuter with the 10. Did they hit anybody? Well, I don't know if they hit anybody because it's still doing the ats. I don't know if it's ever going to go back to not doing the ats. Can't wait to get into the build. I got a Hobbywing 1080 G2 to put in, and Jora wheels and inserts and patina paint, and then drive the hell out of it until something breaks. Yeah. The first thing that is going to get you is the forward motor mount, the motor mount / gearbox thing, because it is a fiddly little thing, and they did not get that thing 100% right. Luckily, because it's as close as one can approximate to a zero pinch chassis, there's so much room in there. I had to build spacers to tighten it down. Oh, and did somebody else asked what's the difference between boom racing 70s and 90s? Width. The 70s are real narrow, like real narrow. They were so narrow that I had to run 14 millimeter hubs to get the tires out to the outside of a Mojave hardbody. So the 70s are like this wide, and then the 90s are like that wide. Boom Racing wheels on the way. Oh, were those Boom Racing? I wasn't trying to get you to spend money. I just remember you guys talking about them. I didn't know. Yeah, I went to an LRT2 in mine, which I love, and I wish I had the forethought to buy two, because that would be what's in the wife's. The wife's has got all the stuff out of MST in it, and other than being loud, it works great. Like, that thing's going to be bulletproof. But working on the FJ is not bad at all. Did he get it? Say what you will about Torx. Oh, it was split, too. Torx will get the job done. And again, a shout out to everyone, including the IKEA Trixig, which is one of the $5.99 expenditures in my life that I am the happiest about. Do you have a Boom Racing truck in the collection? We do. Still in the box. Not yet built. Has it passed a year yet? Has it been a year?
I believe it's about over a year.
You think it's over a year?
A little over a year.
We'll have to look it up, and we'll see.
November.
We'll see if it's the 1 year anniversary, and then we'll start building it. Because once again, the Boom Racing, it's the Landy, and it is a model that you can also drive. So, and also the blind guy is the man behind that one, and he bought all of the gubbins. It's got the dashboard that lights up,
the engine bay,
and full engine bay with a syringe that you use to fill the master cylinder and coolant reservoir so that you actually have fluid sloshing around in your engine bay. It's ridiculous. I'm kind of here for it. I'm getting the feeling when we look at the thing. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling we might not finish misdirection today. I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. I needed a 1.5 buggy. You know what I don't have? You know what I got to build now? I got to build a class 2 buggy. I don't have one. The buggy's here. Like, does Zoidberg count as a buggy? What am I looking at? What is that? Focus, please. Thank you. Oh, I just pulled that out of the Universal. That's weird. So I don't have a buggy. I don't have anything in a buggy in a cage that runs a 475. I have axles. I want to put a TRX4 on Leafs. Go for it. CBS service needed. How did you get the dual SCs on the RC8 to mix on the VR knob? It's in there. It's in the thing. It's part of the dual motor setup. It says where do you want to set like a variable something, and it says do you want to put it on VR or VR2? And I said put it on VR2. It's easier to reach, and you just turn one motor up or down with that VR knob. Like, I tried it. I tried it and I tried it, and I could not get it to work, and I gave up. And I installed it on the RC8, and that was a long and arduous day because previously Argenum the Phoenix was hooked up to that RC8. And I'm so glad that I went through that long and arduous process because Argenum is much happier on an RC6. Much happier. He doesn't need all those extra channels and all those extra features because functions wise, he doesn't actually do anything extraordinarily. Like he's not running 2 motors. Do you want or need a capper cage? I mean, I kind of do. I will take all of your throwaways. If you're not going to use it, I will try to use it, and if I don't use it, I will pass it on to someone who will. That's our MO here. Man. Element still, man. That's a lot of steering angle. It's not giving me that option. Let me see if I left the battery in the radio. I usually take it out because it destroys the battery if I leave it plugged in. And I took it out. I can probably do a dangler though. I can plug a battery in and just leave it hanging out. I gotta find somebody that uses all the radios around me are all on 18650s.
Isn't Argentum on battery? Heck.
Oh, baseline. I can still baseline's battery for the moment. That way we can power it up. But see, the battery will fit, but it won't fit under the door. It's annoying. The radio they made with the biggest screen and the highest power consumption won't fit an appropriately sized battery.
Yeah.
So you go to no, that one. So you're in here. Is this better? Yes. Julius. Whoops. See, it doesn't think I'm a human. Cancel. ESC rate 1, ESC rate 2, and then what am I? Is it this one? Julia C ratio. How do I get to page 2? Oh, there it goes. Mix mode on. Channel 2, channel 3. How did I set this? Under trim dial select, dual ASC ratio and dual ASC. So I have dual ASC ratio on this one up here. So under trim dial select, you can set it to that. Does that help? Did that help? I hope that helped. Oh, was that? So what I was showing you was this dual ASC ratio normal. I hope, and then I said I hope that helped. What cool looking radio is that? This is an RC8, and the RC8 is a radio that 99 out of 100 people don't need. That's Baseline's door. This is this door. It has a lot of functionality. This is a button. This is a great dig button. That's a great dig button. Just got a capture kit with tilt panels and AR60s, and I have no clue about the AR60s. Yeah, I don't do AR60s really. My buddy is now building a 1.5-inch capper on AR45 Portal short wheelbase and 4.3 Swampers. Cool. Anybody heard from the raccoon? No, not in a couple weeks. Oh, it's on DL1, not the VR? Yeah, you could set it on the VR, but it's much easier to reach DL1 than it is to reach the VR. Also, DL1 has click, 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 click. And VR is just, it doesn't make any sound. So I think DL1 is better for it. Did you see my shiny new VR knob on Discord? Yes, I did. I am lucky enough, and I'm going to remember someday I'll remember. So I had a local guy. I asked him to make these for me, and he 3D designed and printed these. And I still have about 30 of them left. Every single RC4 and 6 here has one. And I need to get the file from him so that we can have other people print them. Yeah, RC8X. Ergonomically, excellent. Has all the adjustabilities. Has too many buttons and trims and switches. And you can set it up to do anything you want. It really does drink a bit of battery. It's not awful, but you run it on this battery, you would be surprised to find out that that's the battery that fits, because it has to be nice and flat. This one is trying to tell me that it only has one cell in it. I'm going to see if I can bump it back into life. It's a good radio. It's just a radio that, like, you see this little trough right here? I can get my thumb stuck in there. I know that's a me problem. Most people don't have to deal with these. But it's got a sharp edge here. It's not perfect ergonomically, but it's an absolutely fine radio. And if somebody wants one, if you want one, then get yourself one. I, for instance, like that the button is on both sides. I like that. It's a really nice letter. Did you remember to ditch those lipos that were growing puffy? I did. They're sitting outside. But basically, much like the Radio Master, I don't need 80% of the functionality of the RC8. Now, setting it up to run dual motor is great because it does all the work for you. Seen the RC8 used on a hydraulic excavator. I got to go out and find a bit unwheelie, but super configurable. I bet they're expensive. They're like $300. They're like $300. Which, you know, nowadays, we have a lot of options in the cheap range, and we still have plenty of options in the, oh my God, it costs how much range. Let's never forget that the Futaba 10PX Anniversary Edition is $1,200. Edge TX is really good, though. Disagree. Yeah, I believe that you can just flip the wheel. I think it has the little thing for it. Yeah. Like, I think it's just these two, and this whole thing comes off. And then you undo those, and you put them over there. And it has there's a headphone jack and a USB-C port on it. Like I say, I don't use the functionality of this, aside from it's hooked to one rig. I feel on the one hand like it's being wasted, but I only have one rig that runs 2 motors. Any thoughts on the Mias Hot RC 8-channel TXRX? If it's the one that has no bass on it, it is an automatic fail for me, because if I can't do this, I can't deal with it. And also, they went one step further. Do you see? See, that's not an accident. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is a radio that you can set down in 2 different ways, and it works either way. And also, the battery tray is enormous, so you can run 2 18650s in it, or you can run a Ovonic or Genzace 3800. You can run whatever you want. The Mias radio functionally is absolutely fine, and it has a little video game in it, which is fun. It's like Frogger. But if you can't set it down, like I have the 6, I have the hot racing version, the CT6, which, again, you see the angle and you see the front. Yep. You set it down 2 ways. The baseless ones, and then both the 8 and the 10 from Mias have a thing where if you set it down like this, it depresses the trigger in reverse. Ooh, somebody thought that one out. For me, functionality of radios is kind of secondary, because most radios will do the things you need them to do. Ergonomics go up to, where are you going, Madame? I thought it was tomorrow.
No, it's today.
Oh.
Don't let them forget my hamburger this time.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely looking through the bag this time. 100%. Oh, and don't, you in the chair, don't let me forget to ask Connor what they want this week.
Oh, yeah, they want something different.
Yeah, they want something different. All right. The wife is headed out to a thing, and I'm going to stay here and do this thing. Did I tell you that I got my RC4 GS V2 to do cruise that I can adjust? It doesn't have the very slow speed when I'm trailing. It works great. Yeah. Yeah, I used IDLUP. IDLUP. $1,200 for a radio? Yeah. Dumbo DDF 350 is my go-to. I still don't like it. I don't like the ergonomics of it at all. There's not. It was an ergonomic failure on so many levels that the functionality to me didn't really even matter. I'll keep my RS4. It's like $60. If I drop it, I have my no prep car endless range. Yeah. I run mostly Dumbo RC, 2-channel, 6-channel, 10-channel. Yeah, I didn't somebody say that Dumbo is the OE for Radio Link stuff? I use the base of radios to put in my back pocket if I need both hands, so no wallet-shaped base is a deal breaker. Yeah, I do the thing where you put it into your pocket, which I'm doing right now, and it will just hang on your leg. That's hanging on my leg. Yeah, it has to have a base on it. That USB and 3.5 on the side looks like it's for an FPV. It very well could be. Most expensive radio was the Airtronics M11 that I own. The Airtronics M8, I still hold top of the pyramid, greatest radio ever made. If I can find a radio that can replace my FlySky GT5 but still work with my friends, my receivers, I'll switch. Radio Master, MT12. I'm 99% sure that the MT12 will work with GT5 receivers. Someone should be able to confirm. Is there any size difference between a 6GS and an MT12? It's like being, as somebody said, it's like the guys in a hobby shop.
Yep. Oh, you want to see that one? Oh, we'll put a Mars next to it too.
Not appreciably. Now, weight-wise, this guy's gotta be double.
Now, is that battery or?
No, he's on two 18650s.
Okay.
He hasn't been turned on in a long time. Let's see. Oh, no. Boots right up. Whoop, you gotta go up, 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 up.
Welcome to HTX.
Oh, no.
Warning.
Switch warning.
Switch warning.
I am curious. Let me grab a, Argenum 6. So an RC6 is about 450 grams. This RC4 is 440 grams, so I guess there's not really much of a difference there. Baseline's radio is 460 grams, probably because of the rubber knob and the 3800. Probably beefed that up a little bit. And then a Radio Master MT12 with the little lanyard is 600 grams. Yeah, so it is 25% heavier than the others. That will get to you for a while. Did you get the funky joystick? I did. The part that goes down here, never figured out how to make it work. You can change what color all of the little displays are. It's fully reversible. You can mount another switch thing up here. It has all the trims. I use this for go fast rigs. And also, I'd like to point out, you see the little gentle curve right there? And my thumb just ergonomically, and I can back this up because I have had a guy that owns the Futaba, owns a PX10, and he said that this feels almost exactly the same. The trigger and the steering wheel feel are phenomenal. They really are. And then you get into this, and it turns into an absolute screaming nightmare where unless you have a background in dronery, you will probably give up. Your two choices are give up or watch hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos trying to figure out how to program it. Edge TX is a borderline deal breaker. I have 7 rigs attached to my MT12. It is the radio that has the most vehicles attached to it, and every single one of those vehicles is 2-channel. There isn't a single 3-channel vehicle because there is nothing, absolutely nothing intuitive about Edge TX software in an MT12. Starting with this, by default, channel 1 is throttle. Channel 1 is steering. Always has been, always should be. Channel 2 is throttle. So the first time you plug it in, Mr. Hurley, you can turn the voice off, but here's the problem. When you turn the voice off, you turn all sounds off. So, like I say, it's not perfect, but when I bought that thing, it was like $129. And nobody is getting close to the functionality of that radio at $129. No one. Here's the thing. Do I think that I could learn to program Edge TX? I do. I do think that I could. Do I want to? No. You know why? I would be far more motivated to get into Edge TX if it wasn't for this. I can take one of these out of the box and have it fully programmed to whatever rig I might need with however many channels in less than 10 minutes. And that means everything. That means setting endpoints, setting up cruise control, setting up everything. I know exactly where all the menus are. I know exactly what all of the things do. I don't have to try to translate my brain into another language. It just works. Is the RC4/RC6 the best radio ever made? No, no one is going to make that argument. Is it the best probable offering for tiny toy cars that go slow? Well, if it wasn't, I wouldn't own like 40 of them. And I do. It doesn't require firmware updates. It doesn't have a big, super colorful display that displays a bunch of information that I don't need. How much does an MT12 cost now? I haven't even looked. $179. And that's at A-Main. Banggood has got it for $129.93. You know, take your chances. A lot of the drone places look like they're selling for Pyro Drones got it for $159. Pacific Coast Hobbies has it for $169. There's a seller on Amazon that's got it for $138 with $15 shipping, or $146, $152, $145, $147. So let's call it $150. They're about $150, and at $150, it's still a fair deal. It's still a fair deal, and it does a lot. It really does do a lot. I want to say that including virtual channels, it's like 36 channels. But, you know, and you know, I will say that ELRS receivers do not like small BECs. Had a lot of them throw ESCs into reboots when using smaller batteries or a small BEC. They kind of just lock up and just auto drive for 5 seconds. Oh no! I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't like that. Auto drive for 5 seconds sounds like a bad time, unless you're going very slowly. But I have mine only hooked to go fast stuff, and so far, nothing bad has happened. We're gonna hope it stays that way. I don't know if I need longer or shorter for this. Have you tried the dual motor with the Mi S10B? No, the Mi S10B came through on testing, and left basically right away. It was here and it was gone. Those are 12s. Each were 12s. So no, because like I say, I'm not going to go through the work to test that, knowing that the radio is never going to go into service because it fails on the not having a foot. You got to have a foot. Yeah, auto drive for 5 seconds is... I'm going to lose sleep over that. Auto wash. Multipass. Yeah, he knows it's a multipass. Now, this sets up the drive shaft angles wrongly. What I should do is rebuild the box with the motor plate to the front. But I'm not going to, because I'm pretty sure this is one of the only Stealth X's in the fleet that's still running motor plate to the back. So motor plate to the back makes both drive shafts come out of a little bit of a wonky angle, but it doesn't come out at an absolutely ruinous angle. So we're gonna roll it. We're gonna run with it. We're gonna rock with it. I want an MT12 for its long range. I use it in FP vehicle and deliver donuts and candy to classrooms on our campus at Christmas and Valentine's Day. I think I've seen that video. Look at that. Anyone else got snow today? What?
Nope. You got some wind.
I can give you a big nope on that one. It's
That's snowed here in years.
see if it'll load. This is California, my friend. Will motor plate to the rear clear the interior? You know what? That's an excellent question. It did before, but that's not a guarantee that it will now. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It would in its old position, but it won't now. See what you've done? See what you... Do you see what you've done? You saved me a lot of future work by pointing it out to me now.
Rather than trying it later.
Rather than going through all the work and installing this, only to find out that I have to take the whole gearbox out and flip it around. You all saw me squirt fresh grease in that thing, too. I put my Stealth XF dig setup through its paces, did great until it took about a 20-foot tumble and some screws pulled out. That'll happen. Stealth XF dig, though. That's pretty good. Nobody's mad about that.
Huh, I didn't know that one had a dig on it.
It doesn't. He's making them.
Ah.
8 degrees Fahrenheit. Nope! That's a hard no from me. Wherever you are, I do not want to go to there. Does Mrs. C need a logo with Sheila and Jade on it? If you think you will laser it out, I can make it Xmas themed so it can be a Christmas ornament. I would do that. I would do that. No snow here. Far too stormy and wet for snow. What? So wait a minute. You have to talk slower for my California brain. Are you telling me that in other parts of the world it's not 70 degrees without a cloud in the sky?
Hey, it rained here last week.
It rained last week for almost a day and a half.
It negated my coming down.
The RC8X is wants over needs, but it's in my AliExpress basket waiting on the next sale. I make a genuine effort to buy nothing on AliExpress. It is my site of absolutely last resort. Like, you can't get it anywhere else. I mean, I guess we could, okay. This morning it was 0. That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
I think it went down to like 45 last night.
I'm writing a poll. I'm making a poll. I hate Illinois. It's so cold here. I've had luck on AliExpress recently fairly fast. Not Amazon fast, but okay. I just ordered... What did I order? It was 14 days to the day. My last AliExpress order was 14 days. And then my last Mias order was 16 days because they didn't have it in the U.S. warehouse. The tires, when I got the tires, it was 16 days. Did you ever get to test Sputtercrawler's dig adapter? Aaron, let me tell you something. You know, for an absolute fact, Gary Musey has not moved since I set him down when I installed that dig adapter. He has not moved, not even once. Absolutely not. The answer to your question is absolutely, Absolutely not. And further, for you to even ask is crazy. I asked if I should do 18%, and now I don't even know if I have unused 18%. Yeah, there's 25.55. I just got to find the 25. Wow. Okay. Ooh, no, 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 no. No, I need to make sure that I have the right top shaft. So, ooh, let's do a fun thing. So these are motor plate to the back. I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to do the thing. I have sealed gearbox kits still.
No.
And guess what? Did you hear what I just said a second ago? I have sealed gearbox kits. Now I want you to tell me something. Where did I put them?
In with the gearbox box.
They used to be in the ring and pinion drawer, but then it kept sticking, and I couldn't open it.
Yeah, you can put them in a box.
You think I put them in a bin?
Yeah.
That's possible.
If the drawers are sticking with them in them, I think you put them in a bin.
Put them in a bin.
More likely your gearbox bin.
Oh, here's a bin. Here's a bin with stuff in it. Yes. Okay. We need to pirate one part out of this.
Poke it through the back.
Have you looked at those Injora Mountain internal spring shocks I sent you? They're sitting over here on the bench. Like I saw them. In that, like, if you're asking if I know that they exist, yes. I can't remember. Mr. Hurley is a channel member. You've seen the, you saw the members video, I'm guessing. Like, so, if anybody needs the output shaft for a Stealth X for motor plate to the rear, oh, let me know. I definitely have that. Ruby used to have motor rear, and then I converted her to a Stealth XF. And I think Misdirection might have been the last one that was running motor plate to the rear. So I have like 10 or 12 of those, the other rear top shaft, yeah. Have you got any good recommended dig gearboxes that won't make my wallet weep?
Amazon 3 year? That's still on sale? That's still there? You like that one?
Oh, I can't hotkey. It won't hotkey. Someday I'm going to remember. Did you see that picture I sent you about the Element Stealth X outdrives? Yes. I bought a bunch of them during the tower sale. Not in the Element bin, surprisingly. Also, don't forget to label that. I already put that bag away. Label it. Label the bag. What? Who do you... Where do you think you are? Label the bag. That same dig box on AliExpress is $30. Don't care. I would have that on Monday. Did you ever test that option top shaft in an XF to send OD to the rear for a mullet application? No. But you definitely could. Well, I mean, all you would do is just turn the gearbox around. Like, you don't even need anything optional. Like, if we didn't change anything in this and we just, this is how it was mounted, that's the back. If we just do this, it's now 12% underdrive to the front. So, you don't even need to do anything optional. Why the 3-color? Because all of the single color ones have brass guts for their dig stuff, which is not recommended. They are steel in the other ones. Now, there was a short time in history where you could buy the bona fide, genuine Vanquish guts for the Hertz V2 from Vanquish and put those guts into the cheap, $29 Amazon box and basically make your own Vanquish box. But now the price of the gearbox went up and the price of the Vanquish parts went up. Did we know Boom Racing does a transfer case with OD and Dig? Yes, they are not inexpensive. Not the XCXF. Oh! No, I've never done an XF mullet. I could. Probably should. XF mullet buggy? LCXU? Yeah, they should sell. You should be. I've already said it's not a conspiracy theory in my mind. There's an absolute, irrefutable reason that you cannot buy an a la carte LCXU. Because if you could, they'd never sell another base camp. Because the reason to buy a base camp is for that gearbox. That's why the man from Tennessee, I haven't seen the man from Tennessee today. The man from Tennessee posted a picture of where a dude is making a 3D printed motor adapter plate that will adapt in the Coyote, adapt the LCXU to run a Nod 2 in it instead. Because they say they're lowering the CG. Which is a wild thing to say for a C-channeled rig that's still full of factory plastics. I don't know how much you're actually lowering the CG. But I hope that he sells 100 of them. And I hope the market is flooded with used, low-cost LCXUs. Because I will buy all of them. Just send them all to me. Whoever said there's no such thing as dumb questions needs to go to the Discord content corner page. We have some really good dumb questions. I've smartened up a little bit. Not a lot, but a little. I hold the gears in a paper towel so I don't remove any meat. Just think, if Vanquish started making micros, then all the pickle polishers could go play with their tiny pickles. Honestly?
Well, it wouldn't be outside.
Who? Did you hear that guy's saying that you're an owl? Who? Who here is honestly kind of surprised that Vanquish doesn't make a mini? The fact that there's not at least an 18th scale Vanquish is honestly shocking to me. Because it would cost more than everyone else's, and they would pay it, and they would find some way to make it proprietary.
Nerf it.
Like you could only put Vanquish wheels on it. Only Vanquish, they'd make a new wheel size.
6mm hexes.
And 6mm hexes. And a new tire. Oh. It's an avenue for them to make more money. So I'm stunned. I'm stunned that they don't. Yeah, 7.7mm hubs. And then every year they'll have TTOF, Tiny Trucks of Fortune. Where everybody gets an RTR. Ooh, now we have to discuss naming conventions. What are they going to call it?
The Micro Phoenix.
Oh, no. I got it. Popped into my head right now. It would be an 18th scale H10 optic. That's exactly what it would be. But it would be the H18 optic, and they would call it just that, and it would be just as bad in performance as a big optic because it would still have equal length links.
But it'd be ever so slightly wider than their other mini.
But it would be slightly wider than everybody else's. It would be the H18 100%, and it would only accept Vanquish parts. Like the drive shafts would be a different size from everybody else's drive shafts. Oh, you know what? It's a story that writes itself, is what it is. I'm going to build this gearbox backwards. I do it every time. I never get it right on the first try. Motor mount facing forward is the 52 on the thin plate. Motor mount facing forward is the 52 on the thin plate. If I say it enough times, I might remember it. It's the 52 on the thin plate. Of course, now I just grabbed it. I grabbed it right by the grease. The Optical Illusion 18. Oh. Imagine they call it 18th scale, but it's just a little bit smaller than the UTB 18 and just a little bit bigger than the TRX 4M.
18 is just a size
The number is made up. Oh, the Micro Ripper. Oh man. I don't have to grease these because this has already been assembled. Also, I'm grease laden. There already is a Micro Ripper.
I know someone makes a chassis called the Micro Ripper. Or the Ripper.
So they can't use that? Micro Ripper's already taken? That's why one of my favorite things is that J Concepts made a body called the Ecto to combo break Element, because Element has the Gatekeeper, the Zool, the Ecto, but they can't have the Gozer because J Concepts makes the Gozer.
Yeah. Not the Ecto.
Not the Ecto. So they got combo broken because otherwise they would have come out with the Gozer so that they could have the whole fleet. I bet it'll be the Vanquish VS418. Ooh! If it's on C channels, it's 1,000% going to be the VS418. Yeah. When they decide that a tiny rig can make bigger profit, it will become a thing. I'm amazed that they haven't noticed it yet. Like, those boys over at Axial are shoving it down our throats. They're making them even smaller. Why doesn't Element make a Stay Puffed rig? It should.
Everything white and blue.
Like a Bushido Stay Puffed edition. I've been chat banned by the Sensitive Builders Guild. I'm not sure what I said. Badge of honor, my friend. Badge of honor. LOL. Sensitive Builders Guild. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I am irascible. Still remembered. I like to try to remain like there is a level of seriousness that I think we should take this. And I think one of the problems is you've got people that take this too seriously, and you have people that take this not seriously enough. Like,
what? You're talking about people with one rig?
No, I mean, no. Okay, if you are a person, and I have to assume from here that most of you are, if you are a person, what you do is your business, right? You are not like when the white, I'm still shook, okay? I'm still shook from when my wife told me, she goes, do people buy the things that you say? And I go, sometimes. She goes, congratulations, you're an influencer. And I was like, oh no. So if you are in this space, not so much that space, but if you're in this space and you are influencing people's purchases in one way or another, and don't think that I don't think that there are more than a small number of people that if I say don't buy it, they will buy it for that reason.
To spite you.
They will buy it out of spite because they don't understand how it works, right?
Why?
You're not hurting me by buying it. They're hurting them by buying it. If I'm telling you not to buy something, and I have said in the past, and I will say again now and into the future, I am far more likely to tell you not to buy something than I am to tell you to buy something, because
Like the Vanquish truck.
the mullet.
Not the mullet, the other one.
There were a number of people in the comments on that video, exactly. Now I'm going to buy it even harder. That because I said don't buy this, they're like, well, I'm going to buy two. Oh, okay. Like, that's fine. And the fact that some people got their asses so chapped by me
Because you said
pointing
not
out
buy
that
it?
half-assed
Oh.
design and execution, they got so chapped about it. Like, the Sensitive Builders Guild made a damn Instagram reel about it.
Huh.
Well, it doesn't look like it's getting hung up to me. And then people in the comments are like, yeah, drive it 1 inch to the left, and you would be dragging your nutsack right across the top of that rock. So, like, the whole thing about, oh, it doesn't make a difference. It obviously makes a difference. Because if it didn't make a difference, everybody would just be wang dangling the thing that, oh, low pinion is stronger. Not on a portal. A little knowledge is indeed.
The thing about the portal is to get everything up higher.
A little knowledge can and is indeed a dangerous thing. Watching your tire test has narrowed down my tires wanted list for the crawler, so you kind of influenced me to be more picky with tires. Yeah. What's the best way to get weight forward on a mullet? I've only got 100 grams more up front so far on a 3.5 kilogram build using brass hex adapters up front, but nothing else so far. Brass hex adapters is hard to say. I think I just got drunk. Brass hex adapters.
But those don't add much.
The best option in the front is knuckle weights, because that puts the weight out as far as possible. It puts it as low as possible, and it's not rotating. So if knuckle weights are an option, it's knuckle weights. If the axle that you've chosen for your straight in the front doesn't have a knuckle option, and that is a thing that exists, then brass rings for the wheels is economical and will fit in pretty much everything. The other option
Brass wheels.
is what can you do to reduce the rear weight? Because removing weight is the same as adding, removing sprung is the same as adding unsprung. Moving your battery further forward, reducing weight in whatever way possible by removing other components. Start telling people not to subscribe to the channel and not to become channel members. Oh, reverse psychology. I'm going to reverse psychology all of them. Whatever you do, do not click the bell. Do not consider becoming a channel member. Run into the woods. Strip off all your clothes and run into the woods.
No, the other way. Don't strip off your clothes.
Don't strip off all of your clothes and run into the woods.
And don't run into the woods.
To live with the wolves. If it didn't matter, high clearance links wouldn't be a thing. There you go. I take it you didn't buy a Trucks of Fortune this year then? Yeah, I don't really want an optic RTR.
Yeah.
And of the ones I've seen on Facebook,
The optic of fortune?
it's the traditional optics of fortune. I've seen almost exclusively optics.
Did anyone ever? Have you seen anyone get a truck this year?
No. I saw somebody get an optic kit, and somebody had a one of the builders kits, like the C-channel builders kits. I'm assuming we're going to see somebody get the construct your own stance, the VRD builders kit, which is a stance with more work. Oh, somebody has seen one. Aaron has seen one Phoenix RTR. It's not really motivation. What can I do to stop my buggy from trying to keep going straight when turning? Okay, what you're doing, what you're experiencing, is a thing that in the on-road world they call push. Because what is happening is the rear end is providing more drive than the front can overcome. So one of the simplest ways is torque split. Tell the front wheels to go faster, or tell the rear wheels to go slower, or a combination of the two.
Make sure your servo horn is centered as well.
Also make sure that you have nothing mechanical. Make sure that your servo horn is not hitting anything physically in the front. Make sure that your axle is set to where it can throw all the way, right? And also increasing front caster, if that is an option on your front axle, will also help combat that as well. Also, more weight. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, he's absolutely right. Truckin' Man is absolutely right. It's less caster. More caster will hurt steering, but improve, how would I phrase it? Because this is caster flipped, so we have a lot of caster. Like if you look at the angle, like we have a lot. That's when they talk about like 8 degrees. It's stability in the front, and it can get you more angle, but there's less weight bearing down on the tires. Yeah, and then weight bias as well. Yeah, less weight on the rear axle, more weight on the front. There's a and if when you say buggy, like I assume buggy, but if you mean like a buggy, yeah, the rear is really out, like like a 10th scale buggy with a wing. Yeah, keeping the front end down. You basically have to steer off throttle, because when you come off throttle, the weight transfers forward, and that's how you turn. Oh boy, a car alarm! Just what I was hoping for today.
Sound of your people.
Oh, an R1. Okay, so that's a buggy. Yeah, that's a buggy like this buggy. Yeah. So
the things I said.
Oh yeah, I also remember the don't give memberships debacle. Yeah, we're not going back to that. All the added caster will allow the front to move laterally, giving another hands position. Hands. Yeah, I just want more steering throw. I want as much steering throw as possible. Adjust your instant center. Now we're getting into, like, you got to watch out. Truckin' Matt's got to watch out. You're getting into where people's eyes tend to glaze over. And I'm unwilling to resort to diagrams. Battery high but forward versus low to the side. Do you have a preference for one over the other? I don't. In general, it is get in where you fit in. If I have a preference, it is BOSOA. It is battery on servo on axle. This, if it will fit, this is my absolute preference. Unspringing the battery is like free performance, okay? Because typically, even if it's a 2200, little 3S 2200, that thing will weigh quarter of a pound, weigh 4 ounces. So if you put this up here, so now the battery position is variable, but it's always on the axle. So I would say unspringing the battery is more important than anything else you can do with the battery. If we ran it over here or we ran it over here, I don't think the difference that it makes would be substantial, right? It's much easier to maintain cross weight if the battery is up front. And if you unspring the battery, what if you have springs under the battery so that the battery is sprung? Well, if the battery is on the axle, it's already unsprung. So you could put springs under the battery on the axle, and I think it'll just make the battery wobble around kind of amusingly, like those little horses in playgrounds. The battery is steady. The rest of truck is a variable. I mean, I guess that depends on how you look at it. Because yes, if the axle is contacting the ground, that means the battery is technically not moving and the truck is moving around the battery. But again, we're getting dangerously close to whipping out the whiteboard and the diagrams. If it's only been live for an hour, how do people already have them?
What's live?
Trucks of Fortune.
Oh,
I guess they either
probably pre-ordered them.
they accidentally on purpose did it already. I don't know. I had absolutely no intention of buying one. Oh, and even better than Bosoa,
No battery.
no battery at all.
Solar powered.
There's that 2200 I was looking for. Hey guys, I found a battery. Is you go with this option, which is battery behind servo on axle. There's a 2200 out the back, because now that moves that weight that much lower, but it's also unsprung. Good old GFO. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to take that battery out. That'll be a surprise for later, because I'll forget that it's there.
Configuring to the GFO?
Yeah, he got some kind of a change. I don't remember what it was. They dropped a batch during the live stream on Tuesday. Oh, there you go.
Nah.
There you go.
Someone who knows. A pickle polisher.
I mean, you can watch the live stream and not be a pickle polisher. I think it's fine.
Nah.
I think it's acceptable. Like, okay, here's the thing. We're not saying
Not
that...
to be an insult. But
Right?
yeah.
We're not saying that Vanquish is the great Satan or anything, you know?
No. Some of them
It
are
just-
decent.
It's just that as of recent, on GFO are fossils. Durtrex fossils. I wouldn't have even known till I saw people bragging about their sick deals on Instagram. Yeah. It was fake, accidentally released Monday, then released for real Tuesday, and then again today. Whatever you do to get the hype, keep the hype train rolling, I guess. Whatever it takes.
Well, hey, if you want an optic with some stuff, get the Trucks of Fortune.
Yeah, if you're hot for an optic, Trucks of Fortune is active right now. Your odds of getting an optic are extraordinarily high. If you don't want to get an optic, you should probably spend your money elsewhere. And honestly, if you're sensible, okay, there are a lot of things that like I will take risk on spending money on. I bought a 3D printer, and you know I'm not super chuffed about 3D printing as a practice because it tends to be frustrating. It hasn't been lately. This printed perfectly, and I hadn't fired that printer up in like 2 months.
Well, it's 'cause someone else did it.
I just wiped, yeah, right, exactly. I just wiped the bed off with my hand and went, print that shiz! And it fired this thing out. So, but at the same time, I spent that money on a Kickstarter for it and got the printer. Still haven't unboxed it. I haven't cleared out the space yet. But I have all this confidence that it's going to work. All right? It's not my first Snapmaker purchase, so I feel pretty good about it. But if you have in your hands or in your wallet or saved up in gift cards or wherever you've got $699.99, I, from my position surrounded by tiny toy cars, I would say don't buy a Trucks of Fortune. And that's not just because that your chances of getting an optic are incredibly high. It's this. $699 will build you pretty much whatever you want. You can build virtually any build you want for $700. And you will have no leftover pieces. You will have the exact, and mind you, don't forget, if you spend $700 on a Trucks of Fortune, you have no radio, servo, you have no electronics. You're probably going to replace tires.
You get the RTR, you get the electronics.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you get an optic RTR, but you're still going to have to buy electronics, right?
Yeah.
If you want to build yourself a bitchin' trail rig, you can do that. If you want to build yourself a comp rig, you can do that. If you want to build a 1.5, you can do that. Yeah. For $700, a wizard kit is $500.
Oh,
They're still $500.
Really?
You can get the secure 1800 combo for $75.
Transmitter for $60.
Transmitter for $60 and a $60 servo. You just spent $700 and you have a wizard.
Yeah.
Which you know will the Trucks of Fortune are $750 now.
Good God.
That hurts my head. Yeah, okay. The TRX4 Sport non-high trail is officially back. Okay, so it went from discontinued online. TRA82224-4 is the Traxxas TRX4 Sport Blue. It would say 82224-4-blue. Okay, so now there's a gray one. So now the tan one is gone, the red one is gone. There was one other color. There's another color that's gone. Okay, so the only sports now are blue and gray, and no human being has ever seen the gray one. We all know that it's just the high trail without the gubbins. It's a de-gubbined high trail is all it is. It's the same exact gray. And it's $349.99, and on the one hand, God bless them, right? Because the price points on rigs of all varieties, starter and or otherwise, are getting, as that meme would say, too damn high.
Ridiculous.
They are getting absolutely ridiculous. The fact, the number of rigs out there that are
$500.
$599.99 for an RTR is absolutely ludicrous. It's insane. Now, I hear a lot of people saying that what they're waiting for is the TRX Max, like a giant TRX4.
A 6 scale.
But basically a 6 scale. On the one hand, I would say, not a terrible idea. Blue, red, and tan? It might have been blue, red, and tan, so the blue is the survivor. Now, Traxxas is a company that loves rehashing. They love rehashing, meaning use the same core, make 6 vehicles out of it. Then, once you've run out of the vehicles you can make out of that same platform, now make a smaller one, and a smaller one, and a smaller one. Because you've got the T-Max and the X-Max, and then below that you've got like the Mini-Max, and then they have the Slash and the Slash Max. So now they're making different sizes of the same thing.
Huh.
Right? Same thing,
Okay.
bigger and smaller. So I can see a Max TRX4 being a thing Traxxas would do. The problem for you, and all of you, and me as well, the TRX4 Max would be at least $1,000. At minimum.
Just to be competitive with
At minimum would be $1,000. And I would think $1,199. Because what are they going directly up against? SCX6. And an SCX6 is $1,200. So Traxxas is going to sell a TRX6, and they can't call it a TRX6. They already made that. They'd have to call it the TRX4 Max. Would be $1,200.
Just under TRX.
Yeah, right.
SCX.
TRX4 Max maybe 1099. I could see possible. I could see a small possibility of it at 1099. I'd rather buy an exo-caged X-Trail than Trucks of Fortune. Not that I do that either. Yeah, if we're talking imaginary money, I would definitely go with an X-Trail over a Trucks of Fortune because I know what I'm getting. And it comes on, it's on razor wires. And, you know, it's got, we know what all the componentry is. You're right, Robert, the computer guy. I could swear it was $750 on Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah, I'll run an alternate plan, okay? Stu Nod just pointed out, the COF, Canyon Offers Freedom, if you send me $6.99, I will build you a rig. And there will be no leftovers, and it will have a Fusion or an Outrunner in it, unless you specify brushed, in which case I'll put a big block in it. Yeah, I'll build you whatever, man. I'll cut the chassis rails by hand right here, unless you want carbon rails. Then I'll buy some of those. $699.99 for a roll of the dice is, as a wise man said before me, diabolical.
For a larger roll of the dice.
For an absolute roll of the dice.
Because back when they only had the Phoenix and the other ones.
Right. We rolled the dice back when there were fewer options, and still got the worst one. Just looking for an 84. That's all I'm looking for. Just looking for an 84. Will you build an optic?
Not an optic. But
You
an
know
optic
what?
Cage something.
If you want something in an optic cage, I'll build it. It won't be an optic, but I'll build it. Because the optic is flawed from its inception. It's flawed fundamentally. So I have an optic. I don't, but I do. It's an optic cage. It's not an optic. The only Vanquish on it is the cage. And the biggest limitation of that vehicle is the cage. I wouldn't change it. I love it. The optic should have been on portals from the very beginning. And instead of whatever those excuses for excuses that Vanquish decided to design, whoever was the impetus and the motivation for the H10 axle, I hope they lost their job. Like, we're going to make it negligibly wider than an F10. But what we're going to do is we're going to generate an entirely new parts ecosystem. So everything you had before doesn't fit now. So if you had knuckles and if you had drive shafts and you had all that stuff, none of that stuff fits anymore. So now you need all new stuff in order to get an amount of width that could be had for $20 by simply putting longer hubs on it. When they released it, I said, man, it's a damn shame. There's no way that they've not engineered for us a method to widen our vehicles by 5 millimeters on either side. And that I can't buy them on Amazon. Got a bag right here. I can't go and buy them on Amazon for $10 and just put wider. You want to turn an F10 into an H10? Vigu Hobby Metal 18 millimeter hubs. Oh, you just did it. You just turned your F10 into an H10. Only you can have portals now, so you'll actually have enough clearance to drag that big long belly over stuff. That guy doesn't know what he's talking about. My H10 optic crawls great. It's an absolute line slayer. No, it's not. No, it's not. And telling yourself that is, I mean, you know what? Inception works. You can lie to yourself. And if you lie to yourself for long enough, no matter what the lie is, if you lie to yourself long enough, you'll believe it. Josh is the lead engineer. Oh, there you go. That's all you need to know. I am not an engineer. I don't know. I don't know. I learn by doing, and I figure if I can take something apart, I can probably put it back together. Um, I don't have any engineering in this. Even marketed as a trail buggy. Yeah. But people are going to use it for whatever purpose they want. Okay? I have a Rift converted into a crawler, and I will tell you all day, don't turn a Rift into a crawler. I do not advise it. It's really fun, and it's a good place to put a Fusion 8, but it's not recommended. It's not smart. There are a lot of things that will be more capable.
I am a channel and I do things for stupid views.
Yeah, sometimes I do things for dumb reason. How come jokes are so expensive in the RC hobby? Yeah, trail generally equals can't crawl.
Yeah.
Right? But to me, trail means you better be foxy. You better be sexy. You better get a pretty pass.
Yeah.
Did I get rid of Spite Spiegel? Yeah. He got disassembled. His axles got repurposed, and he lives in Texas? New Mexico? Somewhere on the lower part of America is where Spite Spiegel went to. Misdirection overdrive is 18%. Oh, yeah, I can cancel that thing out. And pull. Yeah, I already installed the 18%. Yeah. I mean, it was 76 to 24. And we are going to start off at 1684, which is probably pretty close for a 1200. I realize I got my mesh a little bit loose. That's pretty good. Okay, 4-1 on that should be all right. And then, well, we can actually I can tell you exactly right now. I can tell you exactly what the well, at least what the front axle ratio will be. $39-1 at the front axle. Pretty 40-1 would be great. So I could go down to like a 14, or I could go up to an 87. I like an 84. I like even numbers. TRX4 Sport versus Coyote. What one's better cost benefit? Sport. TRX4 Sport because it has less. Like the shocks are absolutely serviceable. It's a better tire. The Trepadors that come on the Coyote are a decent tire. They don't fit that rig at all. The thing looks like a high trail when it comes out of the box. And then stock electronics, the edge is always to Traxxas. XL5 HV 2075X and even a TQI are good stuff. You will remove all of the stock electronics from the Coyote immediately. They are like that. The SLT2, the cost-saving measures to go to that radio, it's a crap radio. Yeah, the Edge is still TRX4 Sport. Now, I ultimately think you might be, and also, yeah, if we're talking TRX4 Portal versus AR45Ps, yeah, it's TRX4 Sport all day. But I think nevertheless, I think the Coyote is one of the best things that Axial has put out in years. I will give them credit for that. And Tuxedo Dan is great. And I made a minimal amount of changes, and I'm pretty happy with him. I did put 10 Pro axles on him. Even though a 10 Pro axle is basically just an it's a modular AR45P, but I like him so much better on the Pros. And I did 4-link him in the front and go BTA, which, you know, if you can, why not? Would you rather have a crappy truck with great tires or a cheater rig with crappy tires? Tires. It's tires. It's always tires. Because
the crappy tires, you can't get up there.
Yeah, if you have crappy tires, you can't get up the hill. Yeah. Could you possibly offer up the body on Terrence to a stock 313 TRX4 chassis, please, to give me an idea of fitment? Terrence is on the Fat Boy, the big fat body J Concepts, the least tucked of the bodies, because it's positively chunky. For those who haven't seen it, his name is Terrence. He's one of the Bird Bros, but his name is Terrence because there's like no tuck. The fat red angry bird's name is Terrence. I had to go on the internet to find that out. So there is Terrence's fatty Ranger, which he's got the drift stitches. It ripped on both sides almost immediately, and then has not cracked anywhere since. So go figure there. Terrence is the one that I'm still mentally struggling with the most, because I still don't like the 10 Pro straights with this gearbox. I strongly prefer the straights with the Creeper T. And I do have a Creeper T with a dig unit for it. Terrence might be getting a Creeper T with a dig unit. And then, okay, we might have to grab Daphne because she's still stock wheelbase, but we will try with Sandy, but I don't know how. Sandy's full fenders. So you see, here's the problem. Now, the lengthwise, but it is so fat, we can almost fit it over. Like you say, it lines up perfect, right? So let's see. I don't know if the body will sit down over Velma.
Why don't you just get the stock one? Driver's sides.
Defender's longer wheelbase.
No.
Yeah, see? Yeah, looking like a high trail. It's nice, right? It's nice. No, this is a good body. It's a good body. It just has a little bit less tuck. It's not as substantially less tuck than the other tucks. It just, for some reason, I think we've decided it's because it's the roof. Like, look at the windows. They're basically just straight up and down. They don't have that lean in like most of the tucked bodies do. So it looks really chunky. God, Daphne's heavy. Super heavy. And now I've gotten so many down, I have to put some away. It's impeding my space
How
now.
dare you?
It's impeding my space now.
Once they're down, they live on the bench all day.
There's 6 rigs on the bench right now. Is that the 78 tucked? I think so. I'm honestly not. Yeah. I think so. Because Tranquish is the 89, and I think the Twins are the 95. If you built an optic with Capra axles, would you choose dig or 4-wheel steer? Let me think about that.
How much do you want to fiddle around with stuff? Are you a fiddler or a doer? If you're a doer, dig. If you're a fiddler, 4-wheel steer.
Well,
Because don't you have to fiddle with 4-wheel steer to make it work the way you want it to?
4-wheel steer tries to break your brain. Every time you drive it, you start to realize I know less than I think that I do. That's what 4-wheel steer does to you. But if you were to ask me the question, if you were to pose a direct question to me, Sandy is so dirty. Oh, I drove Sandy when it was rainy out. That's right. I remember that. Are you running any J Concepts monster truck bodies, the 12.5 ones? I have an unpainted one. The Snoop Nose or Sloop Nose. But I just can't find the rig that I feel like fits it. Right? Like, I don't know what rig fits it. Okay. So, if I were to choose between the two for a Capra axled optic, which is what this is, I would go with that. Mostly because...
What was that? 4-wheel steer or dig?
Mias. Mostly because of Mias. Because their 4-wheel steer axle pair, look at that drive shaft, look at that drive line. Just straight down. Now, I would advise you to put either a Nod 2 or an OD3 in there. But I've got a Fox Belly Stealth X up in there. So I have a Stealth X laying down, and it's, hey, found that 850. That gearbox is shoehorned in there. But, like, I love everything about this. I have no complaints about this. And I managed to get all the 3D printed pieces before they cracked down on the print farms. Oh, Erwin's, we never know where he's going. Is Erwin going to work? Is he going to bed? I don't know what he's...
Going to ride his bicycle.
No, Erwin has to stay away from bicycles. We definitely learned that from the Croatia experience. So yeah, I would say four-wheel steer just because Mias makes an incredible four-wheel steer axle pair. And then you can run some half heights. And look at that thing dangling. Look at that thing dangling. And I can't space it up anymore because optic things. Look at that. I mean, does it need four-wheel steer? Who's to say? Who's to say? But I would go four-wheel steer mostly because the only way to really do dig in there is to get a VFD and put $100 dig unit on the back of it, because that interior gives no room. And when you take the interior out, it looks kind of dumb, which is not my fault. I didn't make it. What is it? Not my circus, not my monkeys. Is that how that goes? That's how I feel. We still haven't seen a four-wheel steer mullet build? No, I haven't. Hugo's a gone. Yeah, I haven't seen him once today.
He is the timekeeper.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the timekeeper. He's supposed to be the guy. He's supposed... I don't know what that was. He's supposed to be the guy that warns me when I'm going over time. So somebody else is going to have to be Hugo today.
Someone steps up. Hugo's job.
So type some things that are stereotypically Spanish, or that we would guess is stereotypically Spanish, but is probably woefully inaccurate. Viva la tapas! We've been wasting. What do you got against four-wheel steer mullets? Nothing. I primarily have things against four-wheel steer.
Aren't they more fiddly just to set up?
No. Well, yes. Getting your rear caster angle right is tough, but the number one problem with four-wheel steer is how counterintuitive it is in operation.
Just learning to use it.
Because I've gotten the rig up on the rock, and you get it at an angle, and you say to yourself, okay, my brain says turn the rear wheels to point down the hill, and that will stabilize me. And you try it, and you turn the wheels to point down the hill, and you immediately flip over. So you get yourself back into the same position, and you say, okay, turn the wheels up the hill, and that will solve the problem. Turn the wheels up the hill, you immediately roll off the hill. So you go, okay, so there is no correct answer here. The correct answer is use the four-wheel steer so that you don't get into that position. Like, it's not the answer to every question. Like, it won't help you all the time. And that's tough to get your mind around.
Primarily dig is to turn tighter.
Yes. Well, it's to maneuver both ends of the vehicle. Because say your front end is nosed in and you're towards where the gate is, right?
Yeah.
And you need to pass through that gate, but to do it, you need to swivel your rear end around. Dig won't do that. Dig you need to use to swivel the front end around. So four-wheel steer makes your vehicle over dynamic because your wheelbase is now variable and dynamic. Because if you go into four-wheel steer and not crab, if you go into four-wheel steer, you now have a shorter wheelbase on one side and a longer wheelbase on the other side. So your stability becomes this kind of floating, nebulous space. And you can do a lot of stuff once you start to get it down a little bit. And I barely do. Like, it's usable, but I still make mistakes as often as I get it right. But you find out very, very quickly.
What not to
That if you were navigating through a course, like say we're going through something fairly easy like Green Line, and you take a 4-wheel steer rig out there, it will beat the crap out of anybody else that goes up against it because it is an unnatural advantage. So I definitely understand why in like competitive circles it's basically banned.
It's in a different category.
It's a completely different thing. Because once you add 4-wheel steer in, the only competition for that is 4-wheel steer. You have to both be 4-wheel steer. Dig is more versatile because it's simpler. You don't have to change any setup of your vehicle. You don't have to have any kind of special transmitter to handle it. As long as you got a button,
Yeah.
you can turn it on and off.
What was I doing?
Yeah, crabbing as well. Yeah, and the Last Creation says don't run wide hubs on 4-wheel steer. Yeah, because the longer you get them apart, the more dynamic the wheelbase change is.
Okay.
So you'll shorten, like, let me see. I've done this before. I feel like we've been here before.
So the wider a 4-wheel steer is, the
So
more...
this thing static has a 355 millimeter wheelbase. When we're in full 4-wheel steer like this, the short side is at about 285. So the wheelbase is shrunk by 70 millimeters, and that should translate to the other side. So that means the other side is 425.
Okay.
So if you're on a hill like this, that's very bad because now your wheelbase is very short on the side where all the weight is trying to go. And you can only run 4-wheel steer as a tool. Like you would never activate dig and just leave it on all the time and just drag your butt around. So with 4-wheel steer, you need to use it and then go back to center.
Go back. Okay.
Use it and go back to center. I'm never driving like this, which is why I don't use mixing.
You only use it when you need it.
You use it when you need it. It's a tool to be used when it's needed.
Okay.
And it's the one, them Noble NB4 guys have 4-wheel steer set up the easiest. It's segmental on the notchy thumb wheel. No, they're close, but they don't have it the best. You can't buy the best. If you already have it, you have the best, but you can't buy it.
You must make it.
Because the best is Gumby's radio, the Airtronics MT4, where this is my 4-wheel steer on the lever. It has a detent in the middle, so you can feel the center. And then that is full throw one way, and that is full throw the other way. And you will really find out how fast your steering throw is when that's what your 4-wheel steer is attached to. Because that is how much travel? 7 millimeters? 6, 7 millimeters? That is 6, 7 millimeters to go from static to full throw to full throw. Nothing else can throw as fast. And then also, I mean, this isn't even the Cadillac of radios. This is the Rolls-Royce Phantom of radios. It feels, everything about it feels amazing.
Well, Airtronics didn't know how to make
I'd buy one if you could. Yeah. Good old Sanwa. Too bad. It's a shame, you know. A lot of things have gotten better, right? Batteries are cheap. Crazy powered servos are crazy and cheap.
And cheaper. You don't have to spend $100 on a good servo.
Yeah, you don't have to. We've got $200+ servos in here. I still want to figure out how to set up a PS4 or 5 controller for 4-wheel steer. Apparently, somebody makes an adapter. I don't know if I dreamt it. I feel like I saw it. That somebody made an adapter. Okay, I know for a fact that I've seen people make an adapter to use these to play video games with.
Huh.
So wouldn't it be basically the same operation to make a PS5 controller control a real one? That one dude does Legos with it. All those Lego channels That dude's using a DualShock.
Huh.
He uses a DualShock 4 to do all the controls and the Lego stuff. So there has to be an interface out there. Would reducing endpoints make four-wheel steer more usable? It's more about
When to use it?
it's more about actually in practice. It's not about the steering throw or how far or the speed of your servos or any of that. It's that the thing you think it's going to help you with, it often doesn't help you with. It's a tool just like any other. I had Dig in service for 6 months before I really started to figure out how to use it, right? Dig wasn't super intuitive to me as well. And now all of my digs are set up right here because I got the lanky fingers. This is cruise control and this is Dig. And I will instinctively now, I'll be driving and I'm maneuvering and I go into a spot, and as I'm turning, I go, even if the rig doesn't have Dig, I just reach for it now. So I would try to put Dig on everything. Because when you combine things like the steering angle available to you on axles like the Mias nylons, and then you give yourself Dig, you can see the efficacy of Dig and turning radius by how small the circle you drag with the inside rear tire on a Dig turn. Some rigs here like their Dig so much that it will just, the inside tire will just rotate in place. Now, some tires like Dig a lot more than others. In four-wheel steer, you need a hieroglyphic tire, meaning no directionality to the lug. Did you answer earlier about the reasonably priced Dig box? Yeah, I posted a link. Let me see if I still have it. Yeah. Should be that. Tried fitting Dig on a rig. It's hard getting the spade to fit and work. Oh, no, I've got shovels on a lot of rigs. Plenty of rigs around here have shovels on them. Gate Rover lost his pick, but he still has his shovel. The original Franken Defender makes a 1-inch wide circle when you use Dig on sand. Sand is easy, though. The lower the grip the surface, the easier that Dig is going to be. I have 2 four-wheel steer rigs now, 1 comp rig and 1 more trail oriented. I don't know if I would four-wheel steer on a trail.
What would you need it for a trail?
Like, I've got Dig on the Ghoulie Moo, and I'm thinking about replacing it with a Stealth X because I basically never use it. On a trail, you are allowed to use all the reverses you want. Reverse all day. If you're out on a trail, you have unlimited reverses.
There are no penalties.
Dig is a tool to not have to use reverse. And if you have no penalties reverse, you really don't need Dig. It's a nifty tool, but it's definitely not needed. Oh. Never had a four-wheel steer rig. I personally just don't care for them. Well, if you've never had one, never having one and saying you don't care for them are two conflicting statements, I would have to say. What is Dig? Sam Williams. Sam Williams! Who's the closest we've got that's got Dig on him? Oh, they haven't seen that video yet.
Dig.
Yeah, but he's not easy to show it. Oh, Toothless. Does he? Let me guess. Oh no, Toothless doesn't have a battery in him. Amazing. Half the rigs I've pulled down have batteries in them. Okay, Mr. Williams. Dig is this little guy right here. So out here at the back, we have the Dig unit, and right now we're in four-wheel drive, right? And when this little magical guy, when he goes back like that, what he does is he locks the rear axle. This is locked now because he pulls a little sliding dog onto a mechanism that stops the rear axle from turning. So when this becomes useful is if you're climbing up something and you start to doodlebug and go over backwards, if we go into Dig, the front end will just shoot back down at the ground because it can only try to pivot on the axle. This axle is locked, right? It is physically locked. Whereas if we hold it by the front and try to do that, we can't, right? So the rear axle is physically locked. Then when we come out of dig, we're back into four-wheel drive again. It is really handy for repositioning the front end of the vehicle. Like if we're up against something and I want to maneuver the front that way, or I want to get them, more likely, I want to get the front away from this obstacle, I would turn away, dig it, and now because only the front tires are powered, he'll go and pull himself away from the object. So like I say, if you're out in the wild and there are no gates, then dig isn't. Oh, and also, as Hizzy points out, for descending, because when we have vehicles that are tremendously forward biased, this guy's everything on axle. When you're forward biased and you're descending, it wants to tip over forward. But if you lock your dig, now the rear axle can't turn, so you have to drag your butt down the hill. And it's effectively impossible to go end over end while descending with the dig engaged. I have, however, found that, like I have a rig here that has selectable overdrive, selectable changeable between 20% and 60%. I've found that while descending to actually be more useful than dig. Because what I will do is I will activate cruise control, set it at a very low rate, put the overdrive to 60%. So these are spinning 60% slow, 40% slower. And it does the same thing, but them not being locked. When they're locked, if they grab something, your forward motion stops. And then what often happens, when I say you, I mean me. What happens to me is I'm descending on dig because I'm at an angle like this. This wheel gets caught. So what do? I disengage dig for a second, and then it just cuts loose and it flies off the hill because the dig was the only thing holding me in place. Whereas if I'm running 60% to the front and the 40% rear, the rear is still moving so slowly that we can navigate over those obstacles, but you don't get caught. So advantages, disadvantages, you know. It also it never fails to tickle me that that Toothless is assembled all out of clone stuff and fake stuff and cheap stuff, but his gearbox is real. That's that's a Vanquish Hertz 2 and a Vanquish housing and the whole thing. Because sometimes they put things on sale. Hey, Mr. Turner is here. He's just late. You've missed me take down like 25 rigs. I have to try big overdrive on descending now. I thought it was the opposite. Overdrive hurts descent. No, overdrive hurts side hilling. Oh, big OD, not great for side hill. And also it doesn't demolish side hilling because when Zoidberg got his gearbox swap, I didn't remember that he had wild overdrive gears in his front portal box. So we took him out to the rocks with 66% front overdrive, and he could still side hill. He's very wide. And his tires are very big. But, I mean, it shouldn't have worked as well as it did. You really noticed it trying to ascend. When trying to ascend, you notice that the rear tires are barely turning. I've learned so much on your channel. I almost bought a VRD mullet. Instead, I got the carbon kit. Good. Excellent. That's the best possible option. And if you want to turn your carbon kit into a mullet, you absolutely can. You absolutely can. You don't even have to spend that much money. I want to upgrade my radio. RC8X versus Noble Plus. RC8X seems to have a lot more options for receivers, but Noble is more popular. The Noble, there's definitely advantages and disadvantages to both. Okay? The Noble has got the little rechargeable battery foot, which is nice, but I like a removable battery. The RC8X has a removable battery, but it won't fit a lot of batteries. They both have big battery drinking screens. The RC8X actually drinks battery a little slower, and I learned this with our Genomet Pro line driving at night. If you turn that screen down to 10% brightness, which is what you need to use it at night, otherwise you will absolutely blind yourself. It ran all weekend on one battery. I personally like the I like the ergonomics of the RC8 a little bit better. But honestly, in all honesty, what I would say to you is this: which one can you get more reliably at a lower price? Buy that one.
Do they both have the same terms for stuff?
Like the Noble, the FlySky Noble has like it's they use their own little bits of tweaks on language, but like the FlySky isn't going to call it like the one radio that had all the bonkers menus that you had to decipher.
Yeah.
No, endpoint is endpoint.
Okay.
I vote Noble. I'm biased though. Then he said, and then the other Eddie said, definitely not the Noble. Ooh, it's a battle of Eddies.
Battle of Eddies.
Eddie Design versus Eddie White. One says Noble, one says not. 2 radios enter, 1 radio leaves. Honestly, in that price point, you won't be disappointed with either one of them. I would get the Radio Link because this is a Radio Link place. We're full of Radio Links. There's Radio Links and Sanwas.
You can change the battery without charging it?
I can change the battery without charging it. It does have those little bits of advantages. And ergonomically, I never need a left-handed radio. So the fact that the battery on the Noble, the wheel can just swing around to the other side, that's not an advantage to me. To some people, it might be. And basically, they both bubble boil down to this. They are both radios that you will most likely click a lanyard to because you don't want to drop it. That's what they come down to. I have more than one. I have more than too many RC4s that look like this. You notice he's a flat top. There's where we dremeled off the broken stub of the... He doesn't have any rattly plastic in the inside, but many of them do. Because you can get usually about 3 drops on your RC4 before you break the antenna off. And then you just heat the solder, and then you push the antenna down inside the body, and then you never think about it again. But I wouldn't want to drop one. 3D print covers for the NB4, and it doesn't get hurt at all. I like FlySky, but don't care for the Noble. I'd rather GT5. In fact, I have 2 GT5s. The Noble is, as Mr. C says, too fancy for me. Yeah. I work at a shop where we are a Radio Link dealer, and I push more Nobles. Yeah, like, it's going to be... Okay, all right. I have even better advice than the advice I gave you a moment ago, which was buy the cheaper one that you can get more reliably. If you can find a person, place, or thing that has both, put them in your hand and hold it and turn the wheel and pull the trigger. Does it feel right? Because I have said probably too many times at this point that how this feels is basically everything. There is a singular point of contact between you and, well, when this is finished, this, and it's this. If this doesn't feel good, and if this doesn't feel right, you might as well throw it all out the window, right? Try it. Feel it. I don't like the GT5, and I had, at one point, at least half a dozen of them. They will drink a battery dead because there is something inside. Maybe they fixed it now, but previously, I have that same one in my hands now. It feels cheap compared to the Noble. What same one? The RC8 or one of these? Or the GT5? I have that same one in my hands now. Which one? You have the same one what? Like I say, there are advantages to the Noble. There are advantages to the RC8X. They are the one you have. So what you're saying, what you're telling me, okay, I want to make sure I'm getting this right. I want to make sure I'm getting this right. Central Oregon RC right now is making a claim that this $60 radio feels cheap in his hands compared to his $350 Noble. Is that what you're saying? Because if you're saying that, that will be the most obvious thing that has been said yet today. Obviously. that there is a fit and finish. Like, I can twist this thing. It costs $60, all right? This radio, unless you need more channels, is perfect, is absolutely perfect to my hand to operate a rock crawler, right? This is light. It is cheap. You can put batteries in it for cheap. Does a Noble feel better? Probably.
You're not going to spend $400
and-
for 60 rigs.
And yeah, and you know, while we're at it, let's just, we haven't done one of these in a while, so let's just do one of these.
You want more?
No, this will be fine. You know why I don't do things like Nobles? These were just the ones that were close to me. Okay. This is the Texas Rangers. One Riot, one Ranger, one rig, one radio. There is a very small number of multi-rig radios. Like, my Radio Master has got 7 rigs on it. The GT5 is good for the money. I feel it's better than the Radio Link. Hey!
Okay.
Personal opinion is personal opinion. The GT5 fails ergonomically for me because just the placement of where they put the things. The 2 knobs on the top, that's before we get to the G7P, but I mean just the GT5. If the GT5 has replaced, if they fixed the ability to actually turn the battery off, to where if you leave a battery plugged in, it won't just suck the batteries dead in a week, then great. But like this is a physical, inside of this is a physical switch. So no matter how long you have something, like this guy hasn't been touched in ages.
Batteries stay charged.
And the batteries stay charged. And the Fly Sky battery well doesn't fit a big battery, and that's a 3-cell 18650 in there, which will run this for a year. I have over 50 radio. GT5 runs all my rigs. Never had problems. Awesome. Like I say, ergonomically, the GT5 does not pass for me. I don't like the trigger feel explicitly. It's really hard to hurdle over the fact that it will just devour any battery you put in it. Now, if they fix that, then that's great. But the GT5 still eats batteries for fun. I don't mind how they feel in the hand, but I've moved to Radio Link after advice from here, and I've never looked back. What's on the bench? What's on the bench right now is a better value than the Trucks of Fortune boxes. I mean, I'm not going to argue.
Same amount of money.
It's about the same amount of money. But you don't have to spend it all at once. If there's an advantage, it might be that. We buy these one at a time. Now, I do understand. There is a radio for everyone.
Yeah.
But
You've tried most of them.
and I have tried most of them. I've used enough radios to make a tier list. And in terms of performance, value, like how many different batteries does it fit? What does
You have to buy the specific battery.
do you have to buy
for
a
that.
specific battery? There is a superior one though. Yeah, it's probably like a Futaba 10PX, right? No, it's a Sanwa M12,
The
or an
top line
M17.
Sanwa.
It's an M17. It's probably some $600 or $700 radio. Noble is not value. Yeah, I say the same about the RC8X. 99 out of 100 people do not need an RC8X. But if you want to buy one,
Go for it.
I would definitely say get that rather than a Trucks of Fortune. You could buy a rig and an RC8X for the cost of a Trucks of Fortune. I like my G7Ps, but I'm weird, and that's okay. It's different strokes. I hate that radio. The only radio I hate more than the G7P is the G4P. As long as two 18650s fit, it's all good. And that's a short list of radios, too. That is a really short list of radios. Definitely not fitting in a GT5. And the thing about most radios, and I want to say that these guys do it as well. No, they do not. Most radio wells, they'll just be a big wall of plastic. And then you know there's nothing over there. I know you hate it, and that's okay. Guys with ruggeds have 00 ear gauges. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like an insult.
Their ears are pierced with 00s.
Yeah, but like, is that an insult? Right? Like, if you have 00s,
it
means you're weird?
Apparently.
The whole DX5 series is, from a design, engineering, and product management standpoint, just terrible. Like, the scroll wheel, the touchscreen loses its mind when it gets wet. The scroll wheel on the DX5 is an apocalypse. And I have used scroll wheels on a great many radios.
I wouldn't want a touchscreen on a transmitter.
I don't like the one on the RC8. I don't like touchscreens on transmitters. I had the Trucks of Fortune in my cart and was ready to check out. Then I breathed in and breathed out and realized I had drank this Kool-Aid before. That's the thing. If the radio, I know the Dumbo DDF 350 is the top of the heap for this one, because I know a lot of people love that radio. Ergonomically, I hated it. Everything about it didn't fit my hand. Now I realize I am, as has been pointed out, banana-handed.
Big monkey mitts.
But at the same time, that CT01 fits my hand.
That's exclusively 1860.
So if I can use this and be absolutely fine with it, look where my trigger finger falls. Look how small that is. This is like me trying to hold one of those handguns that's made for ladies.
The baby Glock.
This thing is still fine. It's absolutely fine. And I consider it a feature and not a bug that you just drop an 18650 into the handle. And because it has a screen the size of a postage stamp, the battery lasts forever. So it's not about size. It's not that it's like, this thing does not succeed or fail because it's tiny.
It's not like, oh, I'm not driving Diablo because of that stupid radio.
Did the guy in the background just call a Glock a lady pistol? Glock? I know.
Glock.
The baby Glock? I know SIG makes one too.
I don't know the number of the tiny Glock.
Yeah, I know there's a number of, but a buddy of mine had one right after high school. He got that Glock with the short grip, the one that has the magazines only like that long. And if Glock 43, someone says, when I hold that gun, these two fingers hang off the bottom of the grip. Yeah, because they're supposed to be concealable, so it's a single stack, tiny little things.
You say baby Glock, you
baby
know what
Glock.
I mean, yeah.
Baby Glock. Everybody knows what baby Glock means.
I don't know the numbers, but yeah, it's the baby
I
Glock.
was that guy had that double stack 45 SIG. I loved that thing. The one guy said it was like trying to hold on to two broom handles. Like I was trying to grip two. I loved it. It was the first time that I had a grip that like felt right.
Felt good.
One of the worst interfaces ever on the Rugged, but I only have to battle with it every month or so. Feel like I'm invested in it now, so I can't go back. So I got an M212, which works the receivers. See, you gamed the system. I understand for you, not a lot of people like the GT5, but I just like what I like.
There you go.
Yeah. Exactly. Like,
You down,
if the GT5 didn't devour batteries,
you didn't have to
I would probably still have one or two of them. But I really don't want a radio that I have to remember, I gotta unplug the battery. And I've got one, the RC8. It will eat its battery if you leave it for, I didn't touch it for like 8 months. So if you leave it for 8 months, it will eat the battery because it has an electronic switch. Any radio with an electronic switch is going to do it.
Okay.
right? Particularly any radio with a button that you have to hold down to turn it on,
Nah.
that's an electronic switch.
Okay.
So physical switches, excellent. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that HPI radio because it's got a physical switch. It's got all the adjustments. So, I'm not telling you to throw your GT5s in a ravine. I would tell you to throw your G7Ps into a ravine. But I used that G7P that was on Splinter for about a week, and it wasn't terrible. It was awful, but it wasn't terrible. And I never got used to the trigger feel. I could feel it all the time. It never became transparent. I had really good luck with my rugged SIPS battery, easy to set up rigs. The DX5C is one of my most hated radios of all time. So the fact that you got good performance out of any of the DX series is just like kudos, man. Like I don't wish bad operation on anyone. So awesome. What about the DP11? I haven't tried that one yet because, as I keep saying, the GP11, I'm basically never in the market for a $200 radio. The RC4 or the RC6, they do the job literally 90% of the time. And I have a couple of different ones. Like I had that hot down here. What is it? CT6? Is that right? CT6? CT8. This is basically in like a long-term test because this thing was cheap. I want to say it was $40. And it's in Sandy, and the trigger is inoffensive, and the wheel is inoffensive. None of it feels too bad. It does the same thing where it has hobby fans, and also will take a 18650 red at Main Street. So it's here for long-term testing. But I'm not rushing out to buy more CT8s because ergonomically, I prefer a different one. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. It does have an adjustable, you can adjust the span on the trigger, which is crazy to see stuff like that on radios that are so cheap. And it has adjustable wheel tension as well, which is crazy, absolutely crazy to see on low dollar radios.
Yeah.
Which is something we used to see on every radio. Every radio had trigger tension adjustment and wheel tension adjustment, and now none of them do. Do you have any experience with the Fly Sky G7P? Trickin' Matt, are you messing with me? Because I feel like you're messing with me.
They're trying to get you riled.
The G7P is, I think I put it in hell tier, primarily because atop that radio, there are two cylinders. One is a knob and one is a button. For no reason. For absolutely no reason. And then you have a giant screen which will always say 0000 because it's a timer. Who's using a timer? And you can't, the whole screen is useless. It shows you basically no useful information. Well, I mean, all radios have adjustable trigger tension if you take them apart. Racing uses a timer. I challenge you. I issue an open challenge to go to any venue on the surface of the earth and find someone racing competitively with a G7P. That is not a thing that exists. You would sooner find a unicorn. You would sooner find a unicorn. When you go to a place where people race, the driver's stand, there'll be 10 guys in a row.
Oh, Futaba.
And there will be $8,000 in radios on that driver's stand. Because the poor guy has a Noble. All of the guys up there are 10 PXs and M17s all the way down. We went to an outdoor track down here in Anaheim just to mush around. That's what the whole driver's stand was. It was Futabas and Sanwas, and that's pretty much end of list. You could fit in if you showed up with like the KO Propo or something.
Well, like back in the day, though, when we were racing or going to tracks and whatnot, there wasn't the low dollar option.
Right. Back in the olden times,
you had to spend the money.
This didn't exist. There was no cheap basic radio. RTRs didn't exist. So we didn't have RTR radios. So everybody at a track, it was M8s. It was Sanwa M8s, end to end.
Some sort of Sanwa, yeah. Some sort of electronics.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you
now that have Nobles and FPV 10s and MT 17s. Yeah. And the thing is, we will never find out because they don't want to find out. Nobody wants to run down this avenue. They don't want to go down and open that door at the end of the hallway to find out if we took that M17 out of their hands and put a $100 radio in their hands, would it change the experience?
Would they drive any better?
Would they drive any better or worse? Like, would they suddenly be off the podium?
Yeah.
And they're never going to find out. They're going to use their $800 to $1,000 radios. Radios won't replace driver skill no matter what you do.
Well,
they're not going to find out.
No.
It has been done. We did that in Reno. And what was the result? I still have crystals around here somewhere.
You still have a crystal radio.
I still have a crystal radio. Yeah. I remember when we got FM. It's a little slower. So latency. But latency on a radio isn't necessarily determined by price point. There are cheap radios that have just as good of latency as the really high-end stuff. I look at it like this. Look at a computer monitor. And we've got computer monitors with like 1 millisecond refresh. And then you have 5 millisecond. And then you have X and X and X and X and X. And they're just trying to get you to buy. They're trying to get you to fall into this notion of, in this aspect, smaller numbers better. And in this aspect, bigger numbers better. And that's what it is with the radios. They're talking about a latency. Well, they're like, oh yeah, the latency on this is like 4 milliseconds. Well, guess what? You still have a brain, and that brain still shoots electricity to do this. And when you see something, your brain sees it, right? Has to convert that data into electricity and then tell these to do this. Guess what? They're never going to make something instantaneous, right? The only reason latency is even a talk is because our brain is extraordinarily fast at doing things. Half a second is the average reaction time. The average reaction time for a human being is 2 seconds. Because how we have to measure reaction time is, I'm going to come up behind you, and you don't know I'm there, and I'm going to throw a ball at you as hard as I can. If I got up in front of you and didn't know, I had it behind my back, and I threw a ball at you as hard as I could, odds are very high it would hit you in the face. Because your brain wasn't even processing yet what was happening. A Major League Baseball player can hit a fastball that's coming at him, and he has well less than 1/10 of a second to react. Because he's predicting. His eyes can't even see the ball in the air. It's going too fast. So that's a different reaction time. He knows exactly what's going to happen. He's ready for it, not just anticipating. They are playing a game together. He's throwing it. He's trying to hit it. So his reaction time, when you see a guy do a check swing, I once saw a physiological breakdown of what is involved in a check swing. It's like getting in a car accident because he's using all of his body power to move that bat, and then in less than a tenth of a second, he decides to stop. Most of us couldn't even do it. We would just keep swinging, and we would twirl around and fall on the ground. And this happens with everybody that is at some high echelon of anything. Shooting, hitting a baseball, anything that requires physical activity. When you get to people that get to the top end extreme of it, and here's the thing. As people get to the top end extreme of it, the equipment simultaneously gets is more important and less important at the same time. Could a guy win the Tour de France on a bike that he bought at Target? Absolutely not. Because everybody that he's competing against are on state of the art, right? That dude's bike weighs the minimum, whatever the minimum is now of what a bike can weigh. Can that guy from the Tour, could the slowest man, could the Lanterne Rouge beat the brakes off of you on a bike from the Target when you rode his bike? 100%. Absolutely. And it's the same with guns and baseball bats and toy cars that go slow and toy cars that go fast. As you get to the top end, the equipment becomes more and less important. It's more important because competition is almost exclusively built around having the fastest thing, the best possible thing. But now also your skill set is so high that whoever has the less skill, this is what stock car racing is. The cars are designed to be as close as possible so that it's just the driver. The driver is the only difference. If anybody knows who Amelia Dimoldenberg is, she is perfectly awkward. She just did a series called Passenger Princess, where she got into a car with a bunch of F1 drivers, and I recently learned that F1 drivers are babies now. Babies! The old men of that sport are like 27. So she's in a car with Oscar Piastri and Oliver Bierman and these guys that are like 20 years old, and they're younger than my own kids. And one of them, I want to say it was Piastri, was driving in the rain. It was pouring rain on the course that they were at. And he goes, I love it. Or I love rain. He goes, I love when it rains. And she goes, why do you love when it rains? And he goes, because it makes the racing equal. Because then it's not about the car anymore. It's about the guy driving it. And it's about how close he'll push it to the edge. Yeah. And I was like, that's a race car driver. That dude was born to drive a race car. He also has a neck that's the exact same width as his head, which is how most F1 drivers end up. The G-forces on their necks. Yeah. Look at a picture of Lewis Hamilton. His neck is freakish. My Huffy won't help you win the Tour de France? No. Not only that, here's a real problem for the people that sell things for money. That $15,000 Specialized that just came out, that won't help you win the Tour de France either. As a matter of fact, Mr. Hess, I would be willing to say that if you attempted to qualify and enter the Tour de France, it wouldn't matter if you were on a Huffy or the $15,000 Specialized. The result is going to pretty much be the same. Elite sport is all about minimal gains. Absolutely true. Some things improve performance regardless of who uses it. Some are just comfort for reducing friction while doing the thing. Yeah. Alonso is the oldest driver at 43. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being on a grid in F1 and the one next to you is less than half your age? We know testosterone would help. Yes, absolutely would. Yeah, I love seeing the F1 drivers come over to NASCAR. When what was it? Montoya, when he came over, he was like, it's more competitive. The F1 drivers are sick of starting in fifth and finishing the race in fifth. Right? NASCAR, you'll watch 57 lead changes in one race. But they're just going in a circle. Yeah, with no downforce at 200 miles an hour. Anyway.
They have downforce.
The ELRS and the MT12 is being tested by some racers because it's low latency, and that is a wicked priced radio. Horrible interference, interface, but great latency. Yeah. What happened to all your mods? They're not here. Sputtercrawler is the only one that's here. And he's leaving.
Well, it's 24. You got 6 minutes.
Yeah. The videos of the average person just trying to keep their heads up when experiencing the braking force. Yeah. Yeah, racing drivers from the 70s were a hell of a lot braver because there was a lot bigger chance you were going to die.
There's a lot less safety precautions.
And I want NASCAR to be a class for the 24-hour Le Mans, like 10 NASCARs running. No, we would never do that. We would do 40. At least 40 cars out there. Well, they do 24 hours at what? Sebring? Or is it 12 hours of Sebring? I like endurance racing. Endurance racing is the true and ultimate test. I know that they say F1 is like the pinnacle of racing. No.
Well, like F1,
they're on
in the lead.
They're on the track for an hour and 40 minutes. And now because of because they don't want people to die or whatever, they don't even have fuel. They don't even fill up. They do the whole race on one tank of gas. No. The ultimate is endurance racing, is 24-hour racing, because going as fast as you can for 24 hours, everybody breaks down.
For your 12.
Everybody breaks down.
Yeah.
And at Le Mans, it always rains. Every year it rains. It always rains. So they have to race in the rain. The drivers have to race in the daytime, the nighttime. Oh my God. Truth in 24. If it's still available to watch somewhere for free and you've never seen it, it's called Truth in 24. It's narrated by Jason Statham, and it's fantastic. It's about Le Mans. It's about the Audi team at Le Mans. It's so good. When they were up against, it was the Bentleys. The Bentleys had newer, better, faster cars. So Audi put together the best team that they could. And it's outstanding. Those dudes have to drive straight into the setting sun. They got to drive in the pouring rain. I say pull that. We need to take that chicane out of the Mulsanne and just turn it back into a straightaway so the cars can hit 240 miles an hour again. I used to help build race engines for rally. Took a full ride in a fully built rally car to help set up fueling, and it was mental trying to view the screen I was trying to watch. Yeah, those guys are not human. I told this to my kids when they were smaller, and I tell it to them now. I was like, whatever you do in life, make sure it's something that it's a pursuit. Make sure that it's something you want to do. Start off on that foot, because most people, the lion's share of people, they end up doing what they have to do. Yep. I gotta go to work, right? And that is a true reality. But don't disenfranchise yourself with that if you're still young. There is still the possibility that you can do what you want to do, or something at least adjacent to what you want to do. Because life is painfully short. And, God, most of it is harder than it should be.
Don't enjoy it.
And if you don't, and like, if work is a struggle, and you know, at the very least, lie to yourself, you know. There's a lot of guys out there that enjoy their jobs. I'd be willing to bet that the dude that drives my trash truck has a calmer day at work than, yes. I could never do my wife's job. I couldn't do my wife's job for even a day. I couldn't work in an office. I couldn't have people that I answer to and people that answer to me. I don't even like the thought of it. Life is too short to drive Redcats. That is absolutely correct. As far as the controllers go, use what makes you happy. Everyone has what they like. It comes down to what you like better. Ford, Dodge, Chevy. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. Yeah, absolutely the same.
Look at the specs and then preference goes
Right?
into it.
That's why I say hold it in your hands. Australian V8 supercar is pretty great. It really is. I will put my assent to anything you got. It's all one the driver. All right, I've got like 2 or 3 minutes. Help me understand this Redcat hate. Okay, so Redcat is, and I only speak of the Ascent, right? When I'm talking about Redcat, know that I am talking about the Ascent, and this is why. In terms of the engineering, they didn't even try. Like, it's got bump steer, it's got axle swing, it's got torque twist, it's got everything. It has all of the bad things. The Gen 9 axle that is fitted to it is probably the worst axle that you can fit to a rock crawler. It's terrible. It's truly terrible. All of the fitted gear, the wheels, tires, all of it is bad. The RTR gear, like the Hexfly servo, the Hexfly has roughly the torque of like a 35 kg blue case, but it will be short-lived. They're here for a good time, not for a long time. Pretty much everyone has killed them. Bump steer is negligible in crawling. I would argue against that because bump steer at speed can be catastrophic. If your axle is working against your servo, if your servo is trying to do one thing and the geometry of the front axle is trying to make the servo do another thing, that is not desirable. Bump steer is something that can happen, or at least the swing of the axle is something that can happen on anything fitted with a 3-link plus panhard front end, but it can be minimized by actually thinking out the geometry. There is nothing really redeeming about the Ascent, because if you take an Ascent and you put it up against anything of same cost, you are almost certainly going to get better performance out of the other thing. Because while not every manufacturer gets every aspect right all the time, more manufacturers get more stuff right more of the time. The only vehicle that I would argue is worse than the Redcat Ascent is the Redcat Marksman. Because that's not a rock crawler, and they attempted to make it into one. The Wendigo should have been the rock crawler, and the Marksman should have been the bouncer. But they even got that backwards. And they put all plastic gears inside. I don't agree. I beat every TX4 in every comp I've been in. Okay. I can't tell. I can't tell. I mean, I can't tell. But so here's the thing about the Redcat. Why I will strongly advise against the Redcat forever is that it is the pinnacle of the false economy. You're not saving any money by buying one. You will ultimately spend more money to end up with an inferior product rather than just buying something better to begin with. Currently, the Redcat Ascent Fusion lists for $479.99. And I could give you a list 30 rigs long where money would be better spent. Whether it be, let's not forget a wizard kit is $500, and by the time you're done, you're going to spend $700. But if you have a $700 Ascent, a $700 anything else with wheels is going to drive away from you. That's pretty much how it is. I have a stock TRX4 Sport that'll easily keep up with most anything, because a lot of it is driver skill. Driver skill is an element. Tires are an element. But the Redcat is inferior parts assembled in an inferior way. And by the time you replace all of the Redcat, you have something that's pretty good. I think the Ascent Fusion gives the Wizard a run for its money at $430. I would have to say then that whoever's holding the controller doesn't know how to use it properly. The fit and finish, the assembly, the componentry of the Wizard is not even in the same planet as anything that might have Ascent in the name. That comparison is literally apples to hand grenades, as they say. They're both round and they fit in your hand, but you got to. Here's what it all comes down to. Here's what it all comes down to. I call it a thing called sample size. It's called sample size. I've driven most of them. There's a handful that I haven't driven, but I've driven most of them. If you can name a platform, I've driven it. And the differences between some are subtle. The differences between some are greater. And Redcat, particularly the Ascent, it's not worth the investment. You can do better for less. And that is my advice now, and that will be my advice forever. I think that those who say, my Ascent is good enough, that's great. I can't take that away from anyone. If you've already bought it, I'm not telling you to throw it into a ravine. I'm telling you to have a good time, man. But if you're in the market and you haven't bought one yet, I'm telling you not to buy one. Plain and simple. Because you can do better. It's the same reason I tell people not to buy a Vanquish mullet. Because you can do better. Right? They didn't even get the axle right. But who keeps an RC stock? That's exactly right. That's exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the Redcat. It's the worst axles on a rock crawler today.
The worst starting platform.
It is as a starting platform, it's like I give you the option. You can either have quarter sawn oak or particle board. Which one do you choose? For clarity, the Redcat is the particle board, and the quarter sawn oak is everyone else. There is no upgrade path worth doing with Redcats. That is absolutely correct, because the next thing you know, you will have replaced virtually all of it.
Like you did.
If you've changed the axles on your Redcat Ascent, you don't have a Redcat Ascent anymore. Once you've fundamentally replaced a bunch of it, you don't have that thing anymore. This is the gentleman that tests tires every day. Do you know what that is? That is an Element Sendero. Do you know why? Because it has the gearbox, axles, links, chassis rails, body, everything except the shocks, because he's long-term testing shocks. If you change the axles on a TRX4, you don't have a TRX4? That's correct. I don't know why you would. I have, but I don't know why you would. Rusty is not a TRX4. Rusty is Rusty. He's a TRX4 chassis with F10 axles under him. So no, he's not a TRX4. Your rating isn't about how it climbs, but the quality of design, engineering, and materials. Yeah. In that case, the TRX4 would have to be S-Class. Yeah. Because
Out of the box.
the TRX4 Sport does better than literally everything else. While RTR electronics are not good, Traxxas's are slightly better. Take an RTR, pick whatever your RTR is, and find one that has a tire more serviceable than a Canyon Trail. You can't. It doesn't exist. The TRX4 is one of the very, very few vehicles that classifies as an RTR, because you buy it, you put batteries in it, and you can drive it. And then you can do minor mods that cost no money and make it better, but I don't need to tell you about it. I did like a 9-part series on it. So, if you enjoy your Redcat, there is truly nothing I can say to take that away from you. But if you're thinking about buying one, don't, because you can do better. You can join the Discord, and we will tell you all the reasons why. I don't hate Redcat just because it's Redcat. I think, find a stock shock better than the GTS. There isn't one.
Big bore.
Well, big bores. But I mean in RTR shocks.
Yeah.
In RTR shocks. So anyway, and anyhow, you know what we'll probably do? I will make the links. All I'll do in between is I'll make my links. And then we'll just pick this up. I'll scrape this all into a bucket. I've got one under the bench here somewhere. I'll scrape all this into a bucket, and we'll get back on misdirection next time. Element shocks are good. They are very good, but I do prefer the factory team over the RTRs or the plastic bodied. See Element team shocks, but you can get Element team shocks on an RTR. Those HPI shocks, not bad. Not bad at all. Better than anything axial, for sure. So, yeah. I'm going to go get a coffee drink. And then I'm going to, I don't know, I'll do something. We're going to go to the Farmer Boys and get a hamburger. And then I will see you guys. I will see you guys again. Yeah, bring back the builder's kits. Bring back builder's kits. Make building great again. Like, for real.
Give us the option.
Give us the option. Because do you remember? Less than a year ago, all of the industry was like, well, we're releasing more RTRs because people aren't buying the kits. And now look how many kits there are. In 2024, there was like 3 kits. Now there's like 15 kits. Oh, people aren't buying the kits. Yeah, okay. They were trying to manipulate their own industry, and guess what? They did. Just not the way that they wanted to. So, I will see you there. I will see you then. I'm going to turn all these things off. I've only got 2 rigs to put away. But that's something.
And all the transmitters.
So, I got most of the radios put away.
Oh, okay.
I'm all right.
I didn't notice that.
I am gonna go get that coffee drink, and I'm gonna enjoy it very much. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you in the minute. We had 409,812 frames, and we dropped 271, which is 0.1%. Thanks, everybody. I will see you all. Oh yeah. Don't forget. Turn off the mic. I will see you all in the next one, everybody.